It's co-produced.
Y'all word selection is that word selection is co-produced.
I was here.
Oh my god!
I gotta figure out where Willie got this giant Gold Peak tea diet, 0 calories, no sugar.
We're not sponsored by them, so
I know, but I've been drinking this so much. But we're not sponsored though.
Yeah, we're not. Yo, that podcast people listen, one and only legend, and one aka Low. We back with another episode of Peer to Peer Podcast. On my left, I have my co-host Agent Zero. Say what's up.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Looking cozy today. I feel comfortable, and I am comfortable. I would have got the blanket, but I didn't want to make our guests uncomfortable.
Nigga, get your blanket. Shit.
I'm about to say, I don't know. Nobody's not gonna care.
You cold?
Okay, I'll be back.
I'd rather you do that than pass out and get the freaking the fuck out because you cold and got pneumonia.
Yeah. I might even get my bonnet. I don't know how comfortable my
Hey,
bonnet.
look, shit.
do you?
Yeah, I'm about to get my bonnet.
And also on my left, we got guest for today, Crane Lucas. Man, what's up? What's
happening, man? Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
For sure. Before we get into it, though, as always, shout out to all my podcast people on all platforms. Shout out first to the audio platforms, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you rate us a 5-star. I guess leave in the comment section. I guess that's the word of the day. and then also shout out to my people on YouTube as well, platforms. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a comment in the comment section below, and after you get done with all that, hit the notification bell so you can join Noti gang. And finally, shout out to my word of my people on all other platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Black People's Meet, MySpace, Facebook, all that.
POF. I said POF.
POF, plenty of fish, all that. I ain't heard that in a good second. All that, yo, man, y'all rocking with us, Sean. Keep pushing the podcast. Like y'all know, 100K already, and we already passed 100th episode, all because of y'all. So now with all that out of the way, and now that you back, nice, cozy, and toasty and shit. Crank, you might as well just get into the background first. Kind of explain to people who you are, if people don't know who you are, and how you kind of came up in your decisions in life and where, you became.
They was all bad.
You made bad decisions.
Crank Lucas, man, rapper, producer, engineer, content creator. I've been rapping and producing for 23 years now. 23 years.
Jesus.
I'm an old fucking man. I started doing comedic content back in 2015, doing skits to promote my production, and the shit blew up. I've had a very blessed life these past 5 years. Definitely opened a lot of doors, definitely had a lot of opportunities to work with other artists, help other artists out. I've seen a lot, I've evolved a lot. Still rapping and producing. Just came out with my album Higher Self. Actually just dropped the deluxe edition of that.
Okay.
What's it called?
Higher Self.
Okay.
Higher Self. I got some more stuff I'm working on as well. But yeah, man, produced Joyner Lucas and Will Smith song. Will work with
that one.
Yeah, work with all types of artists, man. So yeah, man, I'm on this journey. You know what I'm saying?
Say word. So you said 23 years, a long time.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Because most people say they got a background in music. Was that true for you too?
Yeah, man. My father is a musician. I think every male in my family is a musician. I'm from the DMV area, DC, Maryland. Okay. I'm from PG County, born in DC. That's a very musical area. We do go-go music out there. Yeah. When we're born, we fall out of our mother's booties knowing how to play either the congos or the drums. You know what I'm saying?
Out the booty.
Yeah, just straight out the booty with it.
Yeah.
So that like it because I grew up. When I grew up, I fell into rap music. If I was born 10 years earlier or 20 years earlier, I probably would have been on stage doing coke with Rick James or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. I see that. Wait, so
and played in church too.
Of course.
Yeah, that's always
okay. Of course.
Yeah.
Always. That seems like it's a prerequisite that almost everybody has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't trying to not trying to put an age on yourself. But what type of rap music you grew up off of?
Shit, man. It's crazy. YouTube music, gang. I was listening to YouTube music on the way up here, and eventually they started shuffling songs. It was like every song they played was like something that I fucked with growing up. I was like, y'all are into my brain too much.
It's getting good.
Yeah, this shit is real, yo.
Yeah,
but Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, 3-6 Mafia, Scarface, DMX, The Lox, Biggie, fucking Snoop, UGK.
Okay.
I listen to everything. Eminem.
You listen to Lil Nas X?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm talking about when I was growing up. I was listening to Lil Nas. That's wasn't even alive.
Yeah, back then he was
That is
still.
true.
He's probably popping out of his mother's booty as you
Nah, I don't think he was doing
Nah,
that
yeah.
yet.
Nah, he went out
he
the
was still
boot,
a chromosome.
How
He
old
was
is he?
he was just
Lil Nas X is like 20.
yeah, he's young as shit.
Oh my god, isn't it kind of wild when someone younger than you is like
Hella
so far ahead of you in life, and you think to yourself like,
especially when it's just off of that one song that just blew up out of nowhere, and now everybody just rock with it.
He kept pushing it on TikTok.
Oh, for real?
That's what he said his strategy, and he was doing it for like a year.
What?
Just pushing the challenge on TikTok, because I guess he had like a challenge with it, but just kept pushing on TikTok for like
I don't
a
even remember
year.
the challenge.
I
don't know if it was a challenge, but it was something
seemed
that
okay.
he had people like putting this, I guess twitching the song or whatever, but he just kept pushing it.
yeah,
Damn,
yep,
that's crazy. All right, so so production.
Yeah.
You grew essentially what you're saying. You grew up in a late 90s, throughout the 90s and stuff like that. Does it sound like when you kind of first really got in tune with music and stuff like that? So what got you in the production side, or did you do more artistry first, or how exactly what was the
When I
steps on
started,
it?
well, I already was into music. I wasn't like officially a musician, but like I said, I grew up around it, so you're kind of like automatically a musician. And so when I started rapping, my homie gave me instrumental CD. After I ran out of instrumentals, I was like, I need more beats.
Yeah.
So I had these little Casio keyboards. So I was like, let me just come up with some shit, and that's how I started producing.
Oh damn! So what around this? Are you like? Is there a sound you trying to go for? Because I think the last we had Benny here, and he was saying he went to well, I don't know if you know King Benny. He said he went to what was it, Guitar Center on his free time, and just literally went in there and just created beats like that for like years.
Man, we ain't had that. I mean, we had Guitar Centers, but I don't even know if Guitar Center was like around when I had started, but niggas just had the little Casio keyboards. I had to use what I had. I had a Casio keyboard and a double deck cassette tape recorder. So for those that haven't produced and don't know, this is what you do. You take your instrument, because you couldn't track or sequence or nothing on these keyboards. So you take your instrument, you play whatever, and I'll have to play the whole way through. And then you take that tape, put it in the other deck, and put a new tape in and record over top of what you just recorded, a whole nother instrument, and you keep repeating that shit. And you have to play the whole way through. Like,
So if you wanted to do a 3-minute song, you had to just play those same keys for
yeah,
3 minutes.
yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Jesus.
imagine
But-
you up at the last like
Well,
5 seconds.
that's the thing. Like being a musician, that you're not playing 100% perfect, and you're playing 3 minutes. You're playing for 3 hours sometimes, especially in church.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's it was, but that's what I needed, and I needed that to rap over. So
Wait, were you hearing yourself? Like how'd you make sure you was on tempo? You was able to hear it and stuff like that?
the tempo was just live, so like I had to, I could hear myself, I could hear what I was doing, but the tempo wasn't 100% on point all the time.
Man, that's
This is the beginning, but I was determined.
That's a fact.
I was determined to put that whack ass music out. You know
So
what I'm
wait,
saying?
first of all, do you have that music still somewhere saved?
I don't think he has tapes still.
I about to say them tapes, those tapes. The
Memories.
last place I remember them tapes was in our old house that got sold. So I think all that shit got thrown out. I was mad too because I had all my fucking VHS tapes, my wrestling shits, the Austin versus McMahon, and all my old SmackDown 2, my old PlayStation 2, like all that shit got thrown out along with my tapes. So yeah, those are gone. Somebody's probably gonna discover them one day.
Damn.
It don't say Crank Lucas though, so
And they not gonna know what to put it in. They not gonna have nothing to put no little tape. They ain't gonna have no tape.
Yeah, I
They
don't.
could technically put it in like a 1999 Toyota Sienna.
I ain't putting in a 2005 Toyota Highlander.
Facts.
They do because it has. Oh wait, my bad. I forgot to introduce the.
Dang, I was waiting.
You did it when I wasn't here.
My bad. Our guest producer, who's replacing John for the day, Omar.
Dang, we was talking to producer. I was finna bump in like I'm a little bit of a producer myself, part time.
Hey, that's wild that your own brother, man, you couldn't introduce him on the podcast to start things off. And he was sitting there talking too. And I thought to myself, like, oh, he probably got introduced when I bounced real quick. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. Omar, you should.
No, it's okay. I got something.
Hey, my
birthday
bad.
around the corner. Yeah, we good. Yeah.
So what around what stage of your life is it like high school when you producing like that? Are you out of high school right now?
I started in middle school. I started at the beginning of middle school rapping and producing. Eventually I got better equipment, so I was able to actually like sequence my shit out. This is still before Fruity Loops and all that, so there wasn't any software for real. Our options was limited, but it was what we had at the time.
Was you able to afford to get an MPC?
Eventually I did get an MPC. Eventually I had an MPC and I had a Korg Triton, and I took those things and I had got like all this equipment, and I was supposed to move down here from DC.
Okay.
Ended up taking a detour, stopping in Cincinnati. I'm not going to get into that story, but I'm taking like all this equipment with me on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like when I think back on having to carry all that shit, because that, especially the MPC, I had a 2000 XL. That junk weighed like 750 pounds, I swear. Yeah.
That's a fact. Those shits is huge as hell.
Then
man.
all them cords and
No, I
yeah.
ain't even thinking about the cords. I just know back in the day, them things was massive.
Yeah.
How you know about how big it was back in the day?
Yeah, that's a good
Because
question.
I ain't gonna lie, right between I was like right before I blew up on YouTube. I actually said this on the last podcast, but I was looking into buying an NPC, and then at the time the Machine had just came out with a shit, so I was like battling between. But then I started doing my history on like which one should I get between the NPC and Machine. I didn't know how it worked and all this shit. But then I think I was just caught up in A-Rap music and the shit that he used to be doing with the buttons. I was like, I want to do that shit. And Kanye too.
I love that song.
That was the thing. Machine came out and it was like this was a hardware and a software that already communicated with each other. The MPC wasn't doing that. They, you know what I'm saying? It was still a cool machine to have, but
Well, the only reason why I was even going back and forth because every single time I was looking at reviews and trying to figure out the history and shit like that, they were just saying, man, the NPC has just got that sound to it. You know, old heads trying to big it up.
Yeah, car people do that too. Where there'll be a significantly worse car, but they'll be like, no, but the way the engine roars and comes to life, but it's slower and less comfortable, and the suspension fucking sucks, and it's like 16 years old. Why are we doing that? I just watched the comparison between a 2014 RS7 versus a 2020 RS7. Come on, bro. They're trying to convince me the 2014 one was better. Just
I think I know what video you're talking about.
It was half price. It's definitely way better priced.
Yeah.
But the new one looks better, is more comfortable, is way faster, it's
Yeah.
everything you want in a luxury car. But anyway, it's not like the same thing here.
But then they was also saying like NPCs is easier because they didn't have to do all the it wasn't intuitive like one big old machine. They were saying like basically you use just a drum pad and they'll show you on the screen, but you kind of had to have all the pieces. And this is at that point in time when they were trying to transition to where you really didn't even have to have a computer anymore.
Right.
They were trying to get to that point too. So this is like right before that jump. And so I was just trying to
make a
figure
beat.
Yeah, like this is like with the drum pad, and they were trying to like right now. I don't think you
Why?
have to have a
Why
computer.
would you
right
want to
now,
do
right?
that? How do you make micro adjustments?
The computer's the brain. So if you have a drum pad that you're loading sounds and stuff onto, but see everybody's using like VSTs and stuff to get their actual sound. So I don't know of any machine that just has all these sounds in it. You know what I'm saying? It unless it's like a keyboard or something, but
No,
yeah.
the machine that I could be wrong, but it was almost like you plug up a USB with the and it just downloads it onto the machine itself.
I think with that I do think like you could take it on the road with you, but you still need a computer as far as like once you track everything out and
Okay.
I think
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, don't quote me either because I'm not a producer, so don't quote me.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, definitely not.
You're not.
I'm a producer, so
For today, temporary. You're a temporary producer.
John's slipping. Go ahead, finish.
So where we at now in terms of like how you getting to the point where you need to get to? We in high school through college. Really, after high school, what happened? Because I think that's like the
What college?
So no college.
No.
No
facts.
college. So when
That's
you
true.
graduated high school, what was the decision? Because I always want to like I always figure out like that's how you can really determine like a man. Because like between like 18 to like 24 is when you really as a man you try to figure out what you're doing with your life and the decisions.
I knew. I started rapping when I was 11, and I said, "This is what I want to do in my life."
Yeah.
Now, right before I was doing that, I wanted to do comedy. I always was like into acting and comedy and all of that. So I started studying like Comic View.
Yeah.
And up late at night watching fucking Comic View.
I forgot about that.
And just picking up the game, man. Just so many legendary comedians. And so I started rapping, and that was middle school. So I'm going through, and mind you, like when I say that this is what I said I was going to do, like I started recording cassette tapes, writing out the whole track list on the motherfucker, going to school selling this shit.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like manufacturing multiple copies of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so do that. Middle school, high school, getting better and better. I graduate high school, and my brother has a spot. Him and his brother. This is not my blood brother, but this my brother. They got all fucking studio equipment, so he ends up getting Pro Tools. I'm the one that learns how to use it. I said, okay, I know how to do this. We can start selling studio time. So I started selling studio time out of this apartment. We recording people. I'm making a name for myself. People hearing my production. This is when I first met Wale. I was recording Wale and I was recording Raheem Devon. This is 2005. So 2005, I've been out of school 2 years now. I graduated 2003. Okay. So 2005, I'm out of school. I'm running this studio, making a name for myself. End up working with this group named Familio. They end up getting a studio. I end up becoming an engineer at that studio, building up my name more and more. Couple years go by. I leave that studio. But I'm producing, I'm engineering at different places, and I'm making a name for myself in the DMV area. We used to have a DMV awards every year. I won best producer in the DMV one year, so I kind of just just doing these things and accolades and stuff, building my name up, and just constantly doing that. And then eventually we fast forward to 2014. And I started studying YouTube. I started studying producers on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So then I start producing stuff, and I would remake beats and put them on YouTube. Okay. And that's kind of like how my name got out there as far as being a producer. But it wasn't until a year later when I started making the skits that I really blow up Shoutouts.
Now before you blew up Shoutouts, because essentially a decade. Oh man.
I guess that was the most friendly way you could use that word.
Yeah, just sprinkle that in there.
I just wanted to try it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Because like we said, there's never a point in this conversation we thought we was going to use it until you just inserted it in there.
That almost feels like a word like reserved for like one moment out the year.
Once a year.
Yeah, just like when you're angry driving.
That is a once a year.
So when you get to in that 10-year decade, is there any point where you're like what the am I doing, like type shit? Like, or was it always just steady growth to make you feel like you were competent in what you was doing?
It's not always steady growth, but you definitely, at least from my perspective, I always just felt like this is what I'm going to do. Like, not this is what I hope I can do. This is what I'm going to do. Against like my parents' saying like, okay, well, you need a plan, you need to work, you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, I'm getting the music from my father, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, but they still like, you gotta, and they know I want to do the rap. So it's like, even that is more, and I get it, like, cause the music industry is bullshit in a lot of ways. It's not easy to make it in. And when you do, you realize that you're basically working this, you're making a lot of money, but the amount of work that you putting in and the amount of money that you actually retaining is like you're in this sucky ass job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not 100% like that all the way across the board. But so things of that nature, of course, people that don't believe in you and all that, like Nate says, I never like just sat back and was like, is this really gonna work for me? Is this real? Like, no, this is what the fuck I want to do. Yeah. Even if I felt like, okay, if this isn't working the way that I want it to work, let me figure out a strategy that will.
Yeah.
And that's always been my outlook in life, is if what I'm doing isn't working, that doesn't mean it's not for me. It just might mean I'm not doing it the right way. Okay. You know what I mean?
True. You stayed in the DMV area all that time?
Yeah. I had came out here in 2008 to try to change my life. You know, it's black people's first step to changing their life is to move to Atlanta.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. You come down to Wakanda and everything, just get a taste of that vibranium, and you never want to go back to where you came from.
Yeah. So I was in the DMV area this whole time, but
that's what happened to you, right? You down here, right?
No, look, they just made a corny reference. That's all.
Where are you from?
Toronto.
Y'all got some there, man.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all got
and some music.
Y'all got
He couldn't even say it without laughing. That's how I laugh when I lie.
Hey, I was just.
Oh no. Where is she from, young? I don't think she's from Toronto.
Who?
It's a singer on my album. Her name is.
That'd be crazy. You just disrespected Toronto like that, and then she's on your album. That'd be wild as hell.
That would be tough.
What's her name?
Very, very, very.
Mary D. But I can't remember where she's from. She's from Canada. I don't know if she's from Toronto, but she's
Probably.
an amazing singer.
I think everybody from Canada is from Toronto.
That's what. Well, if it's not Toronto, it's Quebec, is what she said.
Or Vancouver is the second biggest city, but yeah, I see why she would say. No, Montreal is actually. Yeah, Montreal is second biggest.
You do the same thing for Georgia. Everybody in Georgia is like from Atlanta. Yeah. You can be from the South Side. You're like, no, I'm from Atlanta. You be 30 minutes out, right. An hour out, and you still from Atlanta. So you basically set in like you was very early on you knew what you wanted to do. Like that's which is very, very rare because most people like they struggle between that stages of their life trying to figure out. I
always was like I wanted to be in the entertainment, and it's crazy because I don't like entertaining. It's funny, but I always wanted to be in the entertainment and be a creator. You know what I mean? I used to draw real good when I was little.
Okay.
And I actually got back into sketching last year because niggas ain't have nothing else to do because we were stuck in the house. But this is something I never went to school for. But as a child, I had like a lot of detail in my drawings, and I had this eye for art, and I was able to cultivate that and incorporate that into my music. I do graphic design stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? I want to design buildings and stuff. So I've just always had this kind of like creative eye, and because I grew up in a musical area and in a musical family, that's where the chips fell.
Okay, all right. So now here we are in 2014. You discover YouTube. You getting in that realm. So what is your first plan? You say your first plan of attack was reproducing beats and uploading it. So when did the skits? How you transition from that to doing skits and stuff like that?
All right.
You say reproducing or producing?
Reproducing. So like, I would see, you know, if you go on YouTube and you see like such and such instrumental reproduced by such and such. So the reason that you do that, and this isn't always the case, but what I would do is if it was a hot song, but they didn't put out the official instrumental, we would reproduce it so people could use it. Right, so that instrumental exists. It's not the official instrumental, but I could reproduce stuff and it would sound like very identical to the original one. So the first one I did that really blew up was Race from Earth, No Type.
Okay.
That joint blew up. I remember Complex Magazine interviewed them, and they used my beat in the background of the joint. It was crazy as shit. Like my tag was on it and everything. I was like, yes. So I did that. I did Big Sean, I Don't F With You. I did E40 Choices. I did a couple other jumps. But I'm doing this because now I'm learning like the potential of what you can do on social media, how you can make money from it. I'm just trying to figure out more creative ways to sell my beats online, but I'm like, oh, that's dope. I can do this, I can do that. That's cool.
So did you put it up on YouTube? Were people buying it, or were they just? How did that work?
If it was an instrumental that I reproduced, I wouldn't have it for sale. Like they could just go to my website and download it. But now you're on my website, so my other beats are on there, so people can download and buy my other beats as well.
And was there a lot of crossover there? Like the people that came there for the instrumental, how often would they buy your beats once they bumped into them?
I would say probably like 50% of the people would actually, because you're looking for production. You know what I'm saying? So you got people coming there just for that specific beat. It's like, okay, you have to come to a website to get that beat. So you're going to hear other stuff that you like. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, just to get somebody from YouTube to a whole nother site in and of itself is crazy.
Right.
But if they can just like leave, if 50% of those people can leave that site buying something, it's even more crazy.
Yeah.
So basically you basically giving niggas like the background so they can just when they corny ass mixtapes at that time and they can just rap on it. Cause that's what niggas was doing at that time.
Well, a lot of people with Zayn Malik. You know who Zayn Malik is?
No.
He was.
What's wrong? What's up with this guy, bro? He grew up in a bubble or something? Come on, you know all the teeny boppers know Zayn Malik.
I only know Zayn Malik because he raps on the beat. He was in One Direction. He used that beat.
I don't know.
You don't know One Direction?
I know One Direction, but I know who Zayn Malik is.
Oh,
He's a member of One Direction. You know who Gunplay is?
Yeah, no Gunplay.
He used that beat.
Okay.
So people was using this. You know what I'm saying?
One Direction.
Yeah, I don't know One Direction. I know One Direction, but
It's all good. Real niggas don't know who One Direction is. If I wasn't a producer, I wouldn't know who One Direction is.
It's not about that. It's about knowing what's going on around you.
Oh yeah, I know One Direction, but like, nigga, I'm not listening to One Direction and know
Zayn
that
Malik is the top guy, and you actually don't even have to try and look for him. He was trending like 2 days ago on Twitter.
Oh, for real?
Worldwide.
I don't
he trends all the time.
Shouts to Zayn Malik, man. Holla at me. Get some more production, bro.
But 90% of the customers, I'm assuming, is like just niggas who trying to put off mixtapes. Cause at the time, that's what that was. That was definitely the mixtape era where I'm rapping over another man's beat.
How much are people spending on a beat for a mixtape, especially if they're just starting
Whatever
out?
I charge him now. I think at the time my beats, so you have different packages that you selling based on the quality of the beat, the lease, all that other stuff. So it's anywhere from $9.99 to $15. And now at this point, I'm selling MP3s for like $20, $25. But it could go from there to $100. It could go to $200. Like it's somewhere in that range. But the average person probably spending south of $20.
Okay, that's actually pretty good.
But they don't have like any exclusive rights to it.
You don't have exclusive rights. Yeah. You're paying for the rights to use this.
Okay.
And if you want the exclusive rights, then you're gonna pay whatever the charge you. Yeah.
Okay. Say less. But essentially, still though, it's a bunch of niggas who heard Lil Wayne when they was growing up. Be like, I want to rap over other people's beats too, and that's exactly what they were doing.
And in the comments was like everyone dropping lyrics and everyone would come in the comments with their own lyrics. They doing that, yo.
They really wasn't doing that back then. Now that I don't think they was doing that back then.
That's wild.
I see it all the time now.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that back then. Most of the comments were like people saying, yo, this is dope, you know what I'm saying, appreciate this, or this isn't 100% on point, but they wasn't really rapping in the comment. I don't think that developed yet at that point.
Took a while from the
it's a real thing. Like niggas is in the ciphering.
Crazy. Replying to each other with bars and everything, trying to keep going.
Like, I liked your flow, man. I added some shit onto it. Look.
Like, no, somebody else. Yeah, I don't like that.
Let's write a verse.
Yeah, we're not collabing. This ain't no song, nigga. Yeah, no, niggas be wilding on. That's actually a weird, like, very interesting like space on YouTube where niggas just go on like beats like beat tracks and then just like swear up and down that they're just the coldest nigga out and they just need somebody to just hear it. And the best way to hear it is to put their lyrics in another nigga's comment section.
We're like half of the comments. Is this free? Or is this non-copyrighted?
Yeah, how do you get that? How
You saw the eye roll. Yeah, you know.
how do you get that? Yo, can I use this for free?
It's not even that. That's not what spills my mumbo. What spills my mumbo is the okay. So I'm making skits to promote my beats, right?
Yeah.
They're watching the skit. They like, oh my god, this beat is hot.
Yeah.
How do I get it? Where do I go to get it? It says on the video and in the description and on the first comment that I pinned at the top of YouTube what the website is. And they still ask, where's this beat at? Where I go get it? Or they'll be like, yo, you can rap. You should really be a rapper. I have 3 albums out. I'm promoting them on every single video. That's what be irking my nerves.
Word.
Spills your mumbo.
Spills my mumbo. Yeah.
Is that a DMV thing right there?
Mumbo sauce is a condiment that is popularized in the DMV area. It's sold in our carryouts. I don't know if y'all have the carryouts out here. We call them carryouts. Is the Chinese people?
Delivery, yeah.
We call it their
carryout. Yeah.
Carryout.
Everyone else just calls it delivery.
Takeout.
Takeout. We call them carryout. So I don't know about down here because I don't think down here they do it, but like in the DMV area and up top, the Asians are cooking like American food, like subs and they have chicken wings and stuff, but it's not like Asian style or Oriental style. But one of the dishes that they always have is fried chicken wings, and you get mumbo sauce on them, or you get mumbo sauce on the side. This is just a DMV thing. Sauce is delicious. I should have brought some down here. But yeah, so when I say spills my mumbo, that's my way of saying like grinds my gears. Or
It blows you because if you're having the chicken wings,
it blows me. Yeah, there you go.
You're gonna be pissed off.
Yeah.
But
I imagine.
2014 is like the SoundCloud era, right? That's like the beginning. I Love McConan.
That's another one. I did
Going up on Tuesday.
I don't sell Molly no more.
Oh,
I did that. I did OG Mecco.
Yeah, see, that's like the era. So people were definitely going to get the beats from his website because niggas was trying to be SoundCloud rappers. Heavy.
What? Yeah, you might.
Word, that's how I found out about J. Cole.
From
On
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud? No, you can't. No, I said no.
Say,
Because J. was on there though. He was on there, bro.
I did find some J. Cole songs I've never heard nowhere else but on SoundCloud, bro.
But J. Cole was more Dat Piff era.
Yeah.
Like a few years before that.
I was trolling.
No, I'm just trying to.
Found that shit online.
You said SoundCloud. It was SoundClick first.
Yeah, it was actually.
Remember that?
SoundClick first.
oh,
It was SoundClick. That's when we were selling our beats on. Yeah, I think SoundCloud eventually popped up, but yeah, we had SoundClick.
Yeah,
was that was the website you accidentally went on and the viruses came?
No, that was
No.
Oh, it was a legitimate website?
That's LimeWire.
That's LimeWire, man.
No, I know about SoundClick. I
Or Frostwire.
Frostwire was a thing.
After LimeWire kind of, you were like Frostwire, and he was like, no, we know it's the same thing, nigga. We know that's the same.
I used to use iMesh. You remember iMesh?
No,
it was like LimeWire. It was there, but it was more low key, so it wasn't as much fuckery going on there.
Nah, it was LimeWire to the death of me at that time.
Yeah. Through two computers, right?
Right.
The
Just
viruses.
downloading virus after virus, just trying to get the new
one that said we could stop the virus.
Who were the people uploading viruses? Like, what the fuck are these people
It
doing
might
at
have
the
been
time?
record labels.
Oh, do you think so?
I think record labels probably uploading like
That's like the smartest thing I've ever heard anybody say to combat piracy.
Yo,
that is. Like, think about this. If I'm trying
That's like some evil genius. Like what the
if I'm a record label,
like Leo Cohen sit at the office at that, just like, yes, we're going to give everybody's computer AIDS.
Can you imagine Warner Bros. Like preempting everyone downloading their movie by just uploading their virus before the movie drops?
Yes.
And everybody catches that shit? That'd be wild. Also, very illegal. But also wild, man.
Wow. But if I'm trying to put out memes and niggas download, this is why I'm hot on LimeWire, then I can't do that. I can't. Niggas can't be going. So you gonna have to catch a virus. Like this is gonna have to happen. you gonna have to catch a virus. And I would,
or a Soldier Boy song because you get bamboozled with one of the two.
It was Soldier Boy. It was like the height of Fabulous mixtape era, the height of 50 Cent, height of Lil Wayne mixtape era, and then if the Carter 3 drop and you just download it, nigga, you catching the virus, nigga. Like this is gonna have to happen, bro. Yeah, you're catching the virus.
That was the worst era. I remember how hard it was because I kept running into issues just downloading things from LimeWire, putting them on iTunes allegedly, and then putting them onto a CD so I could play it in my car. It was so hard.
Oh,
man.
yeah, that was, yeah.
Burning on CDs was so fucking annoying. I keep messing. I run through the 6 CD.
Yeah, facts. All right, so yeah, we you reproducing beats and stuff like that. People are buying and selling stuff like that. But how did all of that pivot to the skits and you doing more funny on YouTube with the beats?
A year later, so I was doing the beats online, 2014. At the same time, a homie of mine was also studying Facebook and just like using social media as a tool. Yeah. And so a year later, he had been studying Facebook for a year. I had been studying YouTube for a year. He was like, yo, I'm about to, try to get into this social media, this content thing. He was like, you could do the shit too. You got to use your personality. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure out a way to use my personality. I had no idea what I was going to do. Yeah. I had started making videos where I was talking about certain stuff. And then eventually one day I had an idea to do a skit about a rapper in the studio who like is rapping truthfully about how he's broke and can't afford to pay for his beat and lies on the stuff. And this shit got 300,000 views overnight. This was a Sunday night. It got 300,000 views overnight on Facebook. A couple days later, I did another skit called Rappers Back in the Day versus Rappers Today. That was that Wednesday, and that got 1 million views overnight. And I said, I'm not going to stop making skits then. Yeah. But again, the whole purpose was to promote my beats, but you have all these other elements. You got a dope beat. You got dope bars. It's funny. It's truthful. It's something that people can relate to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just, and like we was talking about earlier, back then the algorithm game was a lot more fair because if somebody followed you, they would see your shit, definitely. Yeah. So, and it was showing your shit to new people and giving them an opportunity to decide whether or not they want to watch it and follow you. So that's really how that came about. You know what I'm saying? And I had already kind of had a small following because of, what I was reproducing. Yeah. That name Crank Lucas had already been out there. And the other thing I did was right before I started doing the skits, I made sure that my YouTube, my Facebook, my SoundCloud, my SoundClick as well, my website, everything all had the same name, Crank Lucas, all had the same logo, same uniform look and everything. That was real important to me. Yeah. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how well it was going to work. I just had an idea and it worked, but I set myself up for success for sure prior to that. So, yeah.
So when you get to that point of just producing, though that like the new type of content, do you think it's like a gift and a curse almost? Because like it was giving you the clicks, but like you said, now people are like probably recognizing you for like other things outside of what you're trying to really push.
No, because they was buying beats like.
Oh, okay.
They was buying I should have been doing that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like I'm glad I was reproducing beats and all that. But it was like once I started making the skits, like that marketing plan worked.
Damn, for real.
Tremendously. Because I figured out that adding music to content gets that music heard a lot quicker and a lot better, and more specifically leading with comedy, period. Yeah. Is a real great way to get people to engage because now their guard is let down. They're gonna accept whatever they hear at that point. And if they watching something and it's funny and a dope song is playing, like, hold up, what song is that? I wanna go, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah.
So at this point, are you like Are you pressed? Are you struggling for money? Or are you already like solid and then it just went to a whole nother level? Because it just sound like you've been straight for a second. Like you never really rely on YouTube ad revenue to like.
Nah, so it's funny because I left this out, but okay. So this is the testimony. So the testimony is 2015. Okay, so 2014 when I was reproducing the beats online, I was still working, and so 2015. I was working this job. I liked the job. I lost the job. I think a week later, I had another job. I was making the same amount of money, but now I'm lifting 3,500 pounds a day, working way harder, way more strenuous work. Still producing, still rapping, still doing shows and all this stuff. Yeah. And I had a show one night, and I came into work the next day. I was hungover. I was tired. I was just like, yeah, I'm tired of lifting all these pounds. It's like, God, please allow me to use the talents that you gave me to feed myself. Yeah. I got fired the next day. Yeah. Was happy. I felt like I was emancipated. Yeah. That's when I went home, made sure all my pages and social media sites and all that had their uniform look. 'Cause it's like, I'm going to focus on, and I think I was getting like unemployment or something. So I was like, okay, I'm good for right now. I wasn't like straight, but I was straight. Yeah. And then I started doing the skits, and from that point on, it was just like, yeah.
Oh damn! So that,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's the story. Like it all lined up because I just had that determination.
Yeah, I feel like that's how my too. I got fired from Home Depot, and it just so happened that's when the like Curry video blew up. That's literally the same week.
So you was at Home Depot, and I was working at CNS, which is warehouse that services. Cause I don't think y'all got Safeway out here.
No, we don't.
Okay, so Safeway is one of our grocery stores.
Oh yeah, no, okay. Yeah.
So, but I'm doing warehouse work, lifting 3,500 pounds a day, working a powered jack. You know what I'm saying? Having to stack up 70 cubic feet of, and like none of it matches. Like it was a lot. Like, it was crazy. So that's what I was doing, and I was like, man, that job is so hard to change my life.
That's tough.
Job will make you start doing skits, yeah. No bullshit.
That's tough. So how long did it take you for you to recognize? Because I know like your video got like millions of views on, so I can't imagine it didn't take that long before.
That's why I just told you the first two videos did 300,000 and $1 million, and that was on Facebook. I was only putting videos on Facebook. That's the crazy thing. Even though I already had the YouTube, I was only putting the videos on Facebook because that's what I knew how to maneuver.
Hey, it's 2015? 2015, 2016 you doing it?
Yeah.
Damn, niggas early.
I didn't start putting my videos on YouTube and Instagram until 2016. And even with Instagram back then, Instagram was only 15 seconds. I don't know how we used to pull that off, but yeah. So eventually once I put everything on YouTube and all that, then everything just kind of caught up.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Because like we were saying downstairs, like trying to get on Facebook to me is so, I don't know, it's so weird just because I know for a fact, I don't need anybody tells me, I know for a fact the audience is like somewhat different, at least definitely older on Facebook.
Oh, they're definitely, well, they're older, but the difference, they're a lot, they're meaner on Facebook. They're meaner, yeah.
Damn.
You don't go on Facebook? Facebook is dead ass the Wild West. Like,
Facebook
is a regular word on Facebook. It flies like everything.
For real?
Yeah.
Facebook is that first group of people that allowed their inner demons and toxicity to have a life of its own on the internet.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? Like before Facebook, we had like Black Planet and MySpace. I know I'm really telling my age, but like back then it was like still kind of civil.
Yeah, it was actually.
And then eventually it's just like, oh, you mean I could say this and not get my ass whooped? Bet. Now you got the worst part of somebody's existence.
You can start a whole hate group. I'm when I was the Capitol.
When I was in high school, we was bored when I was in high school, so I made a Facebook page titled "We All Hate the Guy That We All Hated," and we all joined
No,
the
say
group
his name.
and talked about how much we hated him. I swear to God,
That's wild.
It was such a weird place.
What was his name? I'm interested
Yeah, I'm
in
saying,
that.
say his name. Say his name.
Nah.
Say his name.
Man up.
We'll pull up the group right now. What's the group, nigga?
Why would you have a weird name? It's like, why would you hate somebody named Russell Abernathy? Like, what the
What's wrong with you, bro?
Hey, Facebook is crazy. I streamed on Facebook for a year and a half. They would just come in there and be like, "This stream is dog shit." And back then they had mods, so I would just have to hope that enough people left comments so the shit would float out of my way, so I don't have to see it no more. Because they would just say whatever was on their mind. And then the funny part is, this is Facebook, so I could click on your page and you look
And
like
that's
that.
the other part of it. That's what I do love is that I can research and find out where your family lives.
Hey.
Allegedly, you might do those things.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
What you? No, I did it. Like what you talking about? Allegedly, no. Like I know where that works at. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
When I come to Wisconsin, it's over for you. When I come to Racine, Wisconsin,
this is
And
a,
that
this
is
is a,
crazy though, because they got all that, like, I work here, employee at X, Y, and Z. So right, and then they just come up on your stuff and say all this and keep it pushing, just like it's a regular day.
hey man.
Facebook is the wild.
it's the Wild West.
Wild
It's still the Wild West.
Somewhat
Crazy.
interesting because that means at that point Facebook might be like what YouTube used to be, because YouTube kind of had like, it was like 2011 through 2011 like 14 15 YouTube was like, it was like hints of the Wild West.
It was so weird. Like
Yeah.
somebody would drop a very regular video, and then there'll be video responses with girls with big titties. And then I would just be curious, like, who's the people that clicks on these? You go to the comments, and they'd be like, "Great video. Just watch the original video, and I'm looking at your video response now." It was such a weird place to be. To just exist.
I wish they would bring that back too. Video responses.
No, they don't need to bring that back.
No, they don't gotta be like full-fledged video responses, but like at least like, because I don't feel like reading the whole fucking comment section, so I'd much rather just have like
I don't even remember that.
video responses.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, no. You used to like, it used to be like right, it'd be right under the video.
That's crazy.
That actually be the greatest way to get your video
They
promoted.
had to take that off.
Yeah.
I can see it now.
It needs to
You
be
know,
a
you know
wild
what I be
shit.
thinking, because you know how like because of COVID and shit, right? Like, so when they don't have the fans, like so like even like with the NBA when they had like the digital fans on
Yeah.
screen, but you couldn't hear them. It's good because like if that was there, I'd have been playing my mixtape the whole game. Like, yeah, they smart as shit for that.
Yeah.
Like the profanity, nigga, you about to get these bars,
For a whole
LeBron.
whole 48. Jesus Christ. What would I say? Yeah, no, because I do feel like though, like, because I don't know, Facebook's just interesting to me. I'll be trying to get into it, but I'm kind of very weary of it. So while all this stuff is going on, you still making your own music though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that like, how is that popping off? Or you just like really more so just eating off of like production on the production end?
Yeah, off the production side, and then eventually, because you got to make content for a hot second before you actually monetizing off of it. So I'm just making content. I'm selling beats. I don't remember when I actually first started, because YouTube was the one is you know what at that time what you was only getting paid directly from the website for your monetization of the content. So once I started doing that, it was like, oh, this is a whole nother world. And then that actually became the main, thing. But I was doing other stuff. I was doing features for people, mixing and mastering people's stuff. I wasn't engineering anymore at this point because being a studio engineer is a very tedious job. But I was doing all these different things and just diversifying my bonds, basically diversifying my incomes. You know, that 7 streams of income, like those was the 7 streams right there.
Okay.
Just off of that one thing. And a lot of it wasn't even stuff that's like, hey y'all, I do this, I do that. People would be like, how much to do this, how much to do that.
Okay.
And this is stuff I actually do. Like, yes, I will give a feature for somebody. Yes, I will mix and master your song, but people would ask me like how much for these things. So it just opened up.
You even write? You was writing for people too, or
Yeah.
damn?
Yeah.
So do you think like getting into the music industry, like on the back end, is probably more lucrative than actually being an artist itself?
On the back end?
Like not on the back end, well, really more so behind the scenes.
Well,
a better way to put it.
I'll put it to you this way. More lucrative or less lucrative. I mean, that's subjective, but I will say that for what you're getting and the amount of work that you're putting in, because when you're an artist, it's like you got to tour, you got to make these appearances, you got to drive to Atlanta to come do peer-to-peer podcasts, and get an oil change right before you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, versus if I had just wrote and produced the song, well, I could just be wherever and I ain't got, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have that kind of thing. But again, it comes down to like being an entrepreneur, because it's like, okay, if I'm an artist and I'm this face now, I'm the brand, so you have to leverage that and get sponsorships and endorsements and you know what I mean, things of that nature. So it's really just all in how you play it. When you're signed, I will say that a lot of times the artist is the last person to get paid. Your production, the writers, a lot of them is taking a piece and getting that first. So there's that as well.
Interesting. So but even when it comes to the pay wise, I feel like the artists that we all like know and stuff like that, the big artists, that's essentially like 1%. Like it's the top 1% of just artists. Whereas like
they getting over too.
I'm not saying they get, but even with the amount of money they make. But on the back end, I just feel like behind the scenes, there's probably so many producers, there's way more many writers, there's way more many engineers, way more people like throughout the process. I don't know. I just become trying to understand. Like I know people want to be in front of a camera and they want to like be the face of it all, but there's so many other ways to get paid music wise.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And that was my thing. When I was real young, it's crazy because I just figured that it would make more sense to like. In my mind, when I was young, it was like you do one or the other. You either a producer or artist. Yes, you do both, but what do you want to be known for, or what's your way in the game? So in my mind, production was my way into the game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a supply and demand thing, right? Like we don't need new artists, but artists always need new beats or new production. So there's something that people need. That's a need. So focusing on the need, and that's kind of just the way that I think like entertainment and everything works, right? It's like if you're trying to get into a specific industry, you focus on kind of being the help. So you do jobs like direct or shoot or produce or edit or do something, but you really want to be the star, but you're trying to get acclimated and get into this industry. So you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so that's kind of, I look at production like that, even though now the producer is the star. Cause I'm talking about back in the day when it wasn't no beat tags and it wasn't you don't know who produced it unless you looked at that album jacket. Yeah. So that was another element to that whole paradigm. And now it's just so different. Like, the producer is just as much the star as the artist. And people know that. People know that the beat is what made the song.
That is true.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I don't think that was as much as it known. Maybe probably Kanye and Timberland, like them being more in the camera, people knowing who they are, and Diddy too.
And then back then, those artists actually like was giving more to the song than just lyrics.
Let's talk about that right
on
now.
average.
I think that was probably like a 2014 change. When did what's his name? Hard in the Paint? What's the nigga that made Hard? Lex Luger.
Oh yeah, the beat.
Lex Luger.
Yeah.
I feel like when he came out, that's when the switch kind of went from like, okay, people are giving to the beat, and they stop giving to the beat and let the beat.
That's a very interesting marker, like a very interesting specific.
I would say
song and producer.
I would say is when like I know artists have done it in the past, but like a lot of top producers, their tag is like Drake says it. You know what I'm saying? But so it's like, or Future said, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'ma shoot you. But like, take Heath niggas up. Like, and so I almost started thinking to myself, like, if that's like a co-sign from Drake, so when Drake cares about some shit, the audience can care about it just as a result. So, and then you hear over and over and over again. There was a whole summer where it was just Metro memes, and they're like, yeah, the Metro shooting you is like a meme now.
And cause is it Metro? Yeah, Metro got like what 20 something tags.
He has a lot.
Yeah.
And most of them are by like the artist. To be quite honest with you.
But even back when we was growing up though, like you really didn't. There was no need for a tag because almost every time, either you probably didn't give, or you could probably almost identify who made it just because it came with a sound or more like.
Well, in that, so like going back to the 90s, not to cut you off, but to cut you off, we just didn't think of it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't think about it. I think another thing too is like there was certain artists had like that one producer, was like the main producer of like that whole label type shit. Or those group of producers would. So if you take somebody like DMX or just Rough Riders, for example, and you got Swiss, you got Dame, you got PK, like all these different producers. Again, you have to look at that jacket. Everybody kind of had their own unique sound, but I don't know. We just didn't think about it.
Damn, I don't know.
I said Lex Luger because, and I might be a little bit off, but Pharrell had his little distinctive little 4-beat thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Lex Luger, Luther,
Luger
was the first one that I could remember distinctively. Wiz Khalifa coming on saying that nigga Lex Luger, like an artist co-signing, right? And then this is the beat, because you probably don't know no lyrics.
But Jay-Z's done that before. Though. Jay-Z's co-signed a producer a while.
Not saying. I'm just saying. I feel like that's when it became like, all right, now everybody Metro is.
So you right. But no, you're right. Like that and not just Jay-Z. Like so many artists have done that. I think what you're saying, and around that time is the first time that they actually will take that clip and make that a thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If niggas was thinking back in the 90s, we would have been doing that too.
True.
Yeah, Jay shouted him out. He might have like shouted. Is that what you referring to? Like Jay.
Well, that's what the tag is. The tag is whatever you want it to be. So whether it's a shout out or whatever, it's still you stamping that producer.
But you're right about that Lex Luger thing. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, it might have been like
that was the moment.
It might have been like Swiss, you got one with me. You got another one, Swiss. But I really distinctively remember. Of course, Wiz Khalifa said it, but going forward, he cut that and put it in damn near every song.
But it wasn't just that; it was that, like you said, it was Lex Luger, and like I was more enamored with the actual Lex Luger beat than the actual niggas rapping. Because Ross is probably the only nigga I was enamored with the actual lyrics on a Lex Luger beat.
I was just gonna say that because then right after that, Ross had his little run.
Ross had a crazy run.
Hold up. See now. Because now I'm going back in my mind to 2005 when Ross came out and he had
Justice League.
Well, I think it was somebody before Justice League. Who produced Every Damn Hustler? Was that Justice League?
I don't know the top of my head.
You remember Ross's first thing? Every Day I'm Hustling.
I know you're talking about. I don't know who.
But it wasn't Justice. I don't think it was Justice League.
But even back then, though, like maybe I'm just different. I know for a fact I was more into music than average. I know the way me and him grew up because we knew Justice League, we knew Just Blaze, we knew Kanye, we knew the people before they actually got on to be rappers or more identifiable. Because I even knew what a Timberland beat sounded like before somebody had to tell me it was a Timberland beat. Right. Like he said with the whole Pharrell, like if you don't really know Pharrell with the whole 4-beat count before the song even started and you're going to like a lot of people probably don't know that. But to me, that was the way I identified producers, with just by like hearing it and trying to figure out how did that sound go, and then that obviously went with the actual rapper. Because who's the nigga that used to produce for Common? Like Common was at a stretch where he was only really working with 1 or 2 producers.
I'm gonna act like I know.
Yeah. Dilla?
Oh, what's it, Dilla?
The Runners. That's who it was. The Runners.
Okay.
I knew it wasn't Justice League.
I don't think it was Justice League either.
Yeah, the Runners. And I think that like niggas had tags back then. So I think it was something that was development. It wasn't like a thing yet, but it was something that was kind of like bubbling a little bit. Yeah. And then so probably like what you're talking about with Lex and that kind of class of producers is when it really became like, that's how you stamp yourself.
I'm curious how you feel about a group like Internet Money who kind of they gained their popularity online, a group of producers who live together and just develop great beats. They've helped blow up a whole group of different talent like Juice WRLD and Lil Tecca, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think about that formula from like the producer side of things?
That's dope. I never heard of them.
Really?
But what you just said is dope. I heard it. I heard the other names that you said. So if that's what they created, like that's vicious.
Yeah. I don't know if they created them, but most of their beats on the songs they had initially blow up was developed by internet money. So it's like, I don't know how many producers, like 4 or 5, they just live in the house, make beats all day, and they just made videos online about how to make beats. So they grew an audience. So then artists started finding them, and then they started to like, oh, okay, this artist might have something. And then they work closely with that artist, and now they're massive. They just came out with an album like early last year that was pretty mid, but they came out with like this. Their footprint is pretty massive in the music space. At least I thought it was. Maybe it's just in the artists that I listen to, but I see him everywhere. No,
it probably is. But that's what producers does. That's what a production team is. Period. It sounds to me like what you're saying is what they did is they actually took that element and that group thing and kind of put that out there, like this is what we do, this is how you go about doing it. Like that's what producers do. So that's not nothing new in itself, but that's dope that they was able to do that and create that type of success for themselves.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happen more often though? Because I always like question why is it that becomes like a just cyclical in the music industry where niggas just get f***ed over routinely, even though we all know who should have the power, and like more entities like that should just happen where people just work within themselves instead of relying on like a label to kind of help them fund things that they could eventually just do themselves regardless.
Because the label got the money. Don't nobody got million. It takes a lot of money to pull this off. And it might not seem like it with the way they throw this money around, but like a single, how much you think it costs to break a single? Just guess a number.
100,000.
I would say probably closer to 400,000.
I would say that you can. So the number that I always hear is always over 100,000. So I always hear between 100 to 120 to 130,000 to like, and that's that single. You hear it on all the radio stations and whatever all over the country that plays that genre multiple times a day. And that's just the radio side of things. So you take that into account and just think of all these singles and everything that comes out, and the label's putting out, 20 something songs a month or a year, or, however often. It's like it takes a lot of money to do it. I'm not mad about because the labels are doing a lot of shit. And when you do stuff independently, you start to realize like if I ever want to get to a certain level, you have to have that label.
Isn't it possible that you could just, it's gonna sound crazy, but just build up your own team? You know what I'm saying? Like you could have people on the sales side, people on the marketing side, and that's gonna cost you money. But if you're a large artist, then you have the resources to make something like that happen.
You absolutely do. It's just there's no comparison to what a label is going to do. Now, that's not me advocating and saying don't be independent, go for a label. You might not want that level of success. You might want to get to a certain level, but you want to keep all your money for yourself. And that's not even saying that artists can't just build up their own team and be independent and see the same level of success that a label might give them. It's just the probability of that happening is not the same.
Yeah.
But when you do, and then the other part of it too is like it's the work. It's the work, like being independent is a lot of work. Like I would love to just sit down and walk into an office and the marketing person decided what they're going to do. This person decided what they're going to do. This person's going to handle that. And all I have to do is create. When you got to create and edit, market, and figure out the strategies and actually set up the dates to go and do it's a lot. It's a whole lot.
I guess from a YouTuber perspective, we just do that. And so I'm not saying we normalize it, but it's just for us, it's like it's more possible.
Okay, I do it because I'm a YouTuber too.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what y'all aren't doing that I have to do is write music, produce it, write a song, record it, edit it, and then that's just 5 things.
Yeah.
Every skit that I do, I have to do those 5 things first. Then I have to make it funny. Then I have to edit the skit. Then I have to market the video.
I'll say this. Yeah, when it comes to like, especially like if I'm just rapping and I don't actually know how to produce like music itself, then that right there would definitely be a whole nother hurdle that I probably don't want to get over. But essentially what I'm saying is like if I came up and me and another nigga just knew each other and he was producing, I was writing and rapping, and essentially this is how we kind of came up. Like he just said, like it's a whole group of people who just produce, like they're a group, it's a conglomerate. Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. Like once you just get a group of people, because essentially like that's how a lot of groups came up back in the day. Like NWA was essentially that's what that was.
Well, okay, so even to like with the group that you're talking about, even with that's cool. But again, that's what people do. Like there's not a lot of these producers aren't just like independent producers. They're part of a production team.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you see something was produced by a certain producer, it wasn't. It was produced by somebody that's on their production team. And that producer that started or owns that production team, because production isn't who made the beat. Producing is something different. So it's like you can come to me with a beat and I add certain instruments, take certain instruments out, polish it up, format it, and structure it a different way. Now I'm the producer and you're the co-producer.
Yeah, you the dude who first made is a co-producer now?
Yeah. Because production because production and beat making is two different things.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you're producing something, you came up with this concept and you put it together. I can produce something. I can produce a song and never touch any beat equipment. I say, okay, you my artist, we're going to get a Timberland beat and Mary J. Blige to sing on it.
Yeah.
I'm the producer because I put that together.
And that what Quincy
Timberland
Jones
is just
right?
right.
Yeah, Quincy Jones.
And Quincy was, making beats too. He was actually like making the music and formatting music too. But yeah, so that's what production actually is.
Or Khaled, I guess. Khaled, from my understanding, Khaled doesn't do
same
much
thing.
Like beat wise, but he just actually gets the pieces together in uniforms of music.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting. So do you think? But at the end of the day, I just feel like because I can't just imagine that we get to a point where it's just like how do we get to this stage of like niggas just keep getting taken advantage of. And that when I was growing up, I just felt like we were getting away from that space because Cole, Kendrick, Drake, and them, Wiz Khalifa, all that, they were essentially made just because niggas was downloading their music off of that piff. Like there was no massive machine behind them. Everything was just word of mouth. Twitter wasn't even as big as it was back then. Like it wasn't like I drop a song and you go trending and now has millions of views.
So look at what has happened because okay, you have that era, right? And let's just say that era was that and it stayed untouched. These labels and these entertainment companies start to realize what's going on. Like, look, all this internet shit going on, we don't have a hand in this. We have to figure out something.
Yeah.
And they have the money, power, and resources to already do it anyway. And that's pretty much how any big corporation works. They're going to see what the people do first and then kind of figure out a way to leverage and piggyback off of that. And now that's what's happening. Now you have this whole thing that we're fighting with the streams because the money that we're getting from our streams ain't shit. I mean, we getting fractions of a cent off of these. So like millions of streams because people's not buying albums anymore.
Yeah.
And what they would have been paying per album, per song even, versus what they're paying now, maybe in a monthly fee of being subscribed to, whether it's iTunes or Tidal or whatever, the amount of money that they're paying versus what they're actually able to get. They can listen to anything they want to.
Yeah.
And that's the people that actually pay for those services. You don't even have to pay, just hear music for free.
Yeah.
So that does reduce the value of the music. Unfortunately, when you sign to a label, the little money that is coming in, the label is taking a majority of that. Most people is getting like 20 to 40%, not even 40, like 20% of what their songs are actually making. But
Can you break that down for the people that really don't understand that? Like if a single on, I don't know, iTunes is $1.99, right? And they purchase it, what would your percentage? Versus if a subscription for Spotify. What is the subscription for Spotify Premium? Like $10?
I have a student account, about $5 a month for me.
I don't know, but every single time I hear people try to break that down, it's almost impossible. Because even on a Joe Budden podcast,
seen it. I seen the actual dashboard before. He's not lying. It's fractions of a cent for streams. It's very minuscule. And then assuming that you're not the only producer, there might be another producer gets cut in, and the artist gets cut in, and whoever else.
I think your different songs would be different, but
it is. It depends on
general guess. What's the estimation?
I have no clue. I have literally no clue. But I've seen the actual dashboard with like these are all the songs you're part of, and this is the amount total for each song. It could be massive songs. You're not making really much off of it.
That's tough.
Look like he's finna pull something up, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
He in the crates. So if it's like $5.99 for Apple Music, student for me.
But that's not how artists make their money anyway.
I get that, but I just people don't be knowing like.
All right, so this is from September of 2019. So I don't think it's a uniform answer, and I don't think it's always going to be the same. But so this is per stream. This is the payout per stream. So Apple Music, you're getting 0.00735. Okay, so that's a seventh of a cent. That's a seventh and some change of a cent. Number of streams to earn $1, 136. Google Play Music is 0.00676. Tidal, which isn't on this. Let me hit 5 more rows and see what comes up.
Pissed if a nigga tell me I get a seventh of a cent
per stream. So now if you get 1 million streams, you know you're not getting $1 million. I mean, you getting something, but it ain't. So Tidal pays the most. Well, the second most on this list at 1.25 cents. That's why like Jay-Z was real big on it. And the number one streaming service on this list that pays the most at 0.019 cent is Napster.
I don't think people know that though, because I didn't know that.
The motherfuckers we used to steal from is paying us the most. That ain't that something. Look at God.
That's things to
and
me.
Is that
I didn't know
all
Napster
payout
was
to
still
the
around,
artist,
man.
or is that payout to everybody that was involved on that track?
That's paid out to whoever owns it. And then that's the breakdown. So because I'm independent and I put my music directly into these streaming services, I get all of that. But if I'm with a label, I'm getting a percentage of that.
Percentage of a fraction.
And then it's not just that. It's also like if I didn't produce every song on my album. So the songs that I didn't produce, that producer is getting half of that record.
Yeah, I always thought that was very fascinating. When I hear like Russ talks about it in every interview he ever does, about how he writes, raps, produces, mixes, masters everything himself. So he actually gets all the revenue. And so that seems a lot more appealing. It was when you got to go to a producer, now producer get a cut, and then you got writers get a cut, and then now everybody get a cut. Your cut's not looking too nice.
But again, it's necessary. You're talking to somebody who is that jack of all trades, and it's good to do it, but sometimes it's necessary. If you want the best record, sometimes you need somebody else to mix. Sometimes you need to bring in other producers. Like, yo, what is your ear telling you? What do you hear here? What do you like? It's a collaborative effort. Mm-hmm. I can just make a whole album in my bedroom and that's cool, but if I want the best possible music, I might have to outsource. I might have to go to other people and they want a cut of it. Right. This is just how the game is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn. That's tough. So you kind of hinted to it. So if somebody make a beat, that's 50. That's half a percent of that's 50%.
Yeah, because the way song structure is okay. So you have your masters and you have your publishing. So your master is the actual physical recording of the song. That's the actual sound audio of the song. So let's say that single gets sold, or you selling albums or whatever. So what the breakdown is, so it's 200%. 100% is who produced it, and the other 100% is who wrote it.
Okay.
So whoever wrote it, not wrote it, the artist that's on it. So part of that first 100 is who produced it. So if I have a single and somebody else produced it, they're getting 50%, but contractually they're getting their 100 from producing, and I have my artist 100.
Okay.
Then you have the publishing side. Now the publishing is whenever a song is played on the radio, played in a movie, played at a basketball game, a public event, whatever, those people are paying royalties for that being broadcasted. Yeah. So now you're breaking that percentage down as well.
For real?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That means people basically do some songs damn near free. Like if you do a song with, I don't know, 4 other people on there, 5 other people, 6 other people, and you didn't even write your own shit, you damn near doing a song for like free 99.
This is what happened to TLC. Because everything is now being split between 3 girls, but before it even gets to them, the label is taking away whatever they taking away. We just gave you $1 million advance. You got to pay back. You owe us this. So before you touch anything, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's so much stuff that they put in there. And again, and what I tell artists, what I tell anybody is, it's not what you sign, it's what you negotiate for. So if you signed up for that, you can't be mad, but you can negotiate. You can say, no, I'm not going for that. This is what I want. So artists need to educate themselves more on the structure of the music business. They're trying to put unions together, especially for producers. They trying to do that.
Encompass all producers. It had to be like a certain amount of
of course, you're gonna have to sign up for it and all of that. But it's ridiculous, especially like now with the streaming thing. And the thing about the streaming thing is some of the laws for mechanical royalties that were written back in the 20s is still what we're governed by today.
You 1920s?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not the 2020s.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what makes sense, because the 1920s kind of don't make no sense.
So
no.
Yeah, that's very sad to hear. That's very sad to hear. I can't imagine that. I mean, imagine you have like 6 people in your group. Like, you might be still in poverty. You might have some level of success, but you're still in poverty, man.
Exactly.
Because you got to split that with everybody in your group now.
And then I imagine fucking COVID hit and you can't even tour. So
do shows.
And so now that's the biggest thing, because that's where artists is making their money, from touring and merch. It's not album sales. It really was never really sales to begin with. But now you throw in this thing called the internet where everybody's getting their shit for free.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't sales.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw Lil Baby's been on like 3 features a week for all of 2020. It's actually been incredible. Every time I boot up Spotify, he's on a new song. Was that his way of compensating for the fact that he couldn't do shows and he dropped the album that year? Because I can't imagine. I was trying to figure out, like, why is he on so many fucking songs?
Maybe he just, he just wants to work with a bunch of people. I don't know. You have to ask him that. I don't think because you getting, I don't know what his features are going for. Is he getting the same amount per feature that he would be for actually going out and performing? I don't know. It might be to help compensate for it, but I don't even think it's that. I think because everybody can't tour, so it's people are finding different ways to get around it. But I think Lil Baby just wants to work. And I fuck with Lil Baby. I fuck with his work ethic. I see what he's doing. Like, he actually be talking about some shit. I think he just wants to be the biggest baby. He wants to be the littlest, biggest baby.
Facts.
He accomplished that.
So you work. So on your album, Higher Self.
Mm-hmm.
When is it? It's out right now.
It's out now.
Out now. What is it? What is that about? Kind of break us through, like, how you get to that point with the music. What to expect from the people who might hear it after this. Oh
man, it's just it's about being the highest version of yourself. I wrote it. Majority of it last year during the pandemic, during the quarantine. I was really just doing like a lot of studying, just learning about myself, just trying to be a better person. And I wanted to share that information, you know what I'm saying, to help people achieve the highest version of themselves, to do what they need to do to focus, to get to that point. And then I smoke weed. So that's, I was like, hey, nigga, get high. The fuck?
I like that. I like that. I like how that works. I like how that works. So I mean, so this year you said it's your third one.
Higher Self is my fourth album.
Oh, you had 3 out before this one.
Yeah.
So when you working in that mental space, how much of it did it change with like quarantine and shit like that? Because I know plenty of people who creatives and they couldn't get out of the house and niggas kind of fucked and they got a lot of writer's block and couldn't be as creative as they wanted to be.
That's crazy, man. Like being stuck in the house is just it's like you would think ideally it's like I should be more creative. I should be like focused on my shit. Writer's block, that's sad.
I can't relate.
I can't. But I'm just. I can understand it. I get it now that I think about it. But I never thought of it that way. I always thought like, well, we ain't got shit else to do. We need to be fucking creating content. Yeah, man. It's. And now that you say that, I do think of like certain content creators I haven't seen the same amount of work from. So they probably did lose some of their drive. Sorry for y'all.
I hate to say it, but do you feel like you're a better content creator than them because you have to do so many different levels of this?
You hate to say it, right, Omar?
Well, I hate to say it, and then you got to make a skit.
I actually don't think.
And then you got to make a skit on top of it. So
that doesn't. That's not a better or worse thing. That's just what I do, and you know that's what works for me.
Good pivot.
Don't burn
they
no
don't.
bridges,
I mean, well, it's not about burning bridges. It's just like. You can't compare apples and oranges. You know what I'm saying? Some people that only do like a certain thing, just because I work harder or put more into my stuff doesn't necessarily mean I'm better. I have a different type of style of content that I'm creating. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you ask me if I'm better than other rappers, absolutely.
I just came in to snitch on John. He slept through his alarm and now he's in my room just chilling. So for everyone wondering, he's just chilling.
You couldn't wait till after this is the most unprofessional shit.
Yeah,
he walked in front of the camera.
Said nothing to nobody.
This is the producer.
Oh no, not him. No, the producers.
No, I'm saying he's snitching on the producer.
He's talking about the producer.
This is
He's
terrible.
just chilling like right there now. Yeah.
He's not doing anything. What's happening?
Damn. So man, I guess it is tough for other niggas who had to do a writer block because you.
So if we're talking about we talked about the Lil Nas X thing earlier, wouldn't this be? And you would think, like during the pandemic, wouldn't that be the time to do like the Lil Nas X theory? Make a single. We can't go nowhere. Let's push it on TikTok so I don't have to borrow money from the label to push a single.
No, anytime is the time to do it.
What's that song? All the people shaking their ass to right now.
Bust it.
Bust
I mean,
it.
TikTok has.
Yeah.
I
every
guarantee
single
you,
day.
a label thought that shit up.
No, it was
Right?
Yeah, I followed that artist before. That song has been out for 2 years now. She just signed a week and a half ago, and after she got signed, that challenge went off just because they flooded TikTokers with money, influencers, and they made them do the
You
challenge.
seen the club performance?
Oh yeah, from 2 years ago, nobody was fucking with it at all.
Word.
She did it and it was like damn near a spoken word thing, and she's singing the song at the club.
This nigga
And
said spoken
you know
word.
when you go to a thing and she's like, bust it. Everybody in the club is like, if they don't put the next motherfucker up on this stage.
Yeah, she.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not.
She's been all over IG
made
and
that song?
Twitter.
Erica
Banks.
I never heard of her.
Yeah, exactly. But she's been making music for years at this point.
That's
and that
crazy.
song was out 2 years ago. And she just got signed.
I'm about
2
to
or 3
make
weeks
music
ago.
and just get teeny boppers to dance to that shit.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what the labels is like. Okay, we got to figure out
catching up,
something. Let's pay a bunch of influencers to create more content. You see what I'm saying?
But to me, my whole thought process is that since that's not organic, then it's not real to me. That shit is not. It's real in the moment. But 3 months down the line, no one's gonna give a fuck about Erica Banks because
and nobody
that's the thing.
cares. They don't care.
I'm not saying
she
they
probably
don't
doesn't care. Like
she should though.
Yeah.
Well,
Why?
she should for her sake, but I'm
She
talking
should.
about in terms of like what that song is. Like you just said, it's some song that she came out with 2 years ago that nobody was fucking with.
Yeah.
She probably has way better, way deeper music with the actual message and actual substance. She probably is
Which is also wild because she does.
cringing right now.
Listening to Erica Banks now.
Because I ain't gonna lie, there's like freestyles of her on Nicki Minaj beats and all. She's actually a good rapper. That's the only reason why I even follow her. But it's
Isn't that so
interesting that
sad,
the
though?
fucking
'Cause
label
I saw
decided
it-
to fund that shit.
I didn't even know it was a girl song. All I knew was that everybody. I heard the beat. That's all I've been hearing
Yeah,
is
me
the
too.
beat
Yeah.
and people dropping it low to
Yeah,
that
we didn't
shit.
even get into the song. It's just literally really almost Nelly sample and then the first part.
And that's it.
And that's it. And they just like probably blew $100,000 on that shit.
Fetty Wap, the fucking what was that single? The joint that he
Slim Thick with your cute. Is that what you're talking about? Because I know
Is
he had a
that it?
challenge.
Wasn't
That.
that
That's
called,
another one.
Damn near had a challenge.
the first song
Oh,
that
Baby
he
Come My Way. Baby, won't you come?
that was out for like a year.
Over?
It was on SoundCloud. Crazy. It was on SoundCloud.
It was out for a year.
But see, I don't mind. See, the only reason why I'm making that point is because the reason why Cole, Kendrick, and them did a whole decade straight of being relevant is because it was organic. Because their growth was people word of mouth and determining after they heard it if they fuck with it or not.
I don't know about that, bruh. It's the same thing. They had a machine behind them.
No, I'm
Kendrick had a,
talking in the very, very beginning.
But it's like, look, if once you knock something out the park like Lil Nas X did, it's like, all right, now how good are you? Because you have to do that again. And the people that's been at the top for this long are the people who did it again and then again and again. They found a way to just make songs that people want to listen to all the time. So with that girl who rapped over, I don't even know what the song is. I don't know if it's rap or
Erica, but
rapping.
she rapper.
yeah.
Okay, now she's gonna have another chance to make a song that's gonna bang like that, and it's just gonna depend on whether she's good at what she does or not.
But my
Swear to
theory is
God.
that people don't exist like that anymore. Like I don't. When's the next Nicki Minaj? When's the next?
Lil Baby just proved it. Lil Baby had a song blow up, and he was just that guy that had a Drake feature, and then like he had that whole thing he was doing with Gunna for a while, and then he just dropped one of the greatest albums
who
like,
else?
that's graced my ears all year, bro.
my turn. It's one of the greatest
Bro,
albums.
I swear to God, that shit is
I love that
beautiful.
album too. Yeah.
Lil Nas X just did it though, because he's had no, and I know.
Yeah, he did have a couple
I know it
hits after
sounds
his main
crazy.
hit.
Yeah, he has hits outside of Old Town.
But I haven't
Road.
heard nothing in a year, and that's fine.
He
But
just
that
dropped a
doesn't.
holiday song though, and it's like on this. It was trendy during the holiday.
Maybe I'm not listening
Okay,
to Lil
that's
Nas
fine
X.
though, because that's like evergreen shit. That holiday
Yeah.
shit, like that would be money making for like next 30
Because
years.
Mariah
so.
Carey probably.
And I think Lil Nas X kind of it wasn't just the song, right? It was like this
His persona now.
the brand, right? The whole of who he is. And then if you want to add the gay thing to it, okay, I think that probably might have helped a little bit. But even before it was like, okay, he's gay or whatever, it was still like he created this whole thing, and that's really what it is.
But he created it though. That's the point I'm making.
Created this
He-
gay thing?
No, I'm saying he created. He like you said, he's the one who went to TikTok. Is not that,
Right.
not so. Essentially, I'm not saying. I'm pretty sure Lil Nas X in the very beginning didn't have hundreds of thousands of dump at TikTokers. So they still had to fuck with the music to really do with it.
I feel like that's just gonna get old soon though, bro. And
think it
I
will.
knew the moment I realized that when Drake came out with that Tootsie Slide song. I was like, man, you giving us instructions for a generic dance right now that like left foot. I'm like, man, what are we doing right now?
You know what? Y'all niggas is getting older. That's what it is.
So then that's the other thing I keep wondering.
No, he-
am I just
He's
getting
you're just getting
Am I
older.
just
That's
getting
all it
older
is.
and then, like,
Because
this shit
this
I'm not
play
fucking with
is
no more?
never going to stop being ran.
I'm not saying it's not gonna be ran, but the point I'm making is if there's
sustain it as an
yeah,
artist.
what's the sustainability of it? Because you're right, nigga. Back when Mims did it, it was essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But after an album and a half, it was done already. So my point is, we just got done watching essentially like 4 or 5 legit great artists do a whole decade stretch, and Drake, Cole, Big Sean, J. Cole. I said Cole twice. You know what I'm talking? Kendrick Lamar, Nicki Minaj.
Right.
They just did a whole decade. And a huge reason for that is because when they first started, very, very, very beginning, when it was just essentially them, it was a bunch of mixtapes that people had to be put on from word of mouth, essentially. So you're already building an audience where even a decade later, if Cole drops some shit, I'm listening to it, not because Jay-Z put him on, but because I heard Cole before he even got to that point, and I've been fucking with this shit anyway. If the reason why I heard your music is because the first 20 seconds of it was being played in a TikTok song, I don't know who you are, so I'm not fucking with your music. I just fuck with the challenge. So once the challenge is done, then what? And the odds are you not being relevant after like 5 to 7 more months. That's the reality of it.
That's the reality across the board, regardless of how the person
Agree.
blew up.
And so the point I'm making is, so where are the sustainable artists? Little Baby's one, but who else?
They out here. They will, because you got so many new artists, right? At the same time,
that's fair too.
that's the other thing. Like in the 90s, it was like 12 rappers.
I think there's plenty though. Like there's like the Baby blew up last year. Moneybagg Yo blew up. I think both of them are gonna be around at least for another few years. I'm fairly confident there's gonna be people with staying power. Is they'll float to the top. That's just how it works. So people aren't going to stop listening to music because there's less good music.
They're
They're just going to listen to the best in their opinion. So like, there's different categories to the shit. You know what I'm saying? First, there's like the toxic rap, and then you go to Baby and Moneybagg Yo, and they just talk their shit. You know what I'm saying? Then there's like the one that's more like Rap Caviar, bragging about your shit. There's the Futures of the world, the Drakes of the world. So there's different categories, and the guys with staying power that can make music for those categories that people will listen to and fuck with, then they're gonna stay at the top. And there's new artists that come up all the time that fucking knock people down.
That might be really.
But the question that you asking is who's sustainable is the answer to that question is the answer that it has always been, which is just who consistently makes good music, who's consistently making hits. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing with the music industry. You just have to get through that door.
Yeah.
You just have to get that first thing. If you can keep following up with some dope shit, you good.
It's a lot like YouTube, man.
Oh, Lil Uzi too. I'll give Uzi too.
Yeah.
Uzi, on the beginning stage.
Yeah, and Cardi, he dropped a good album.
Well, let me.
Because we're gonna ignore what that nigga just
That's
said.
what I'm saying. I'm
He's gonna ignore
I
that.
ain't listen to it, bro. I don't know how. I ain't listen to this
what
shit yet.
Stop somebody? Because I seen there's this new challenge called the Junebug challenge. I don't know if y'all seen that. With the
What's
Ready
that
to Get It Started, where he's bitch, I got loose stick.
And you know how long that song's been out? It's only been out for months at this point.
But let me say this. It's gone through 2 challenges now.
Yeah.
So what's stopping? And I've seen the beginning,
Which is wild.
Which is wild. So I've seen the beginning of the Junebug challenge. It's some verified TikToker. He said, all right, this is day 1 of the thing that I'm calling the Junebug challenge. And he would do this. He did it for about 16 days straight before. I think it was like 16 days straight before it took off and it started going everywhere. Why can't you do that for every single song, album, whatever, like at least one song? Why can't you create a challenge for every album?
You can, and I think that's when the market is going to become flooded.
Yep.
Is once it gets to a point, and I think we kind of seeing it now because that's all I see is Junebug challenge and Busted challenge right now. And I think eventually it's going to get old. These challenges are going to get, not the challenge themselves, but just doing challenges. I think is going to get to a point where it's like, all right, we got like
What kind of challenge can we do for your album?
I'm trying to do something. I have a song actually called Another Challenge that I want to come up with a challenge for, but I want my challenge to actually be like something creative, like something that like, not that you got to work hard for, but just something that's not going to get old and stale, and something that everybody want to do, from the babies to the grandmas. So
you do the whole dancing?
I don't know if I don't even know if it's gotta be a dance challenge. Maybe I'll do a weed rolling challenge.
I was about to say,
that's the beauty of a challenge.
The babies do that.
It don't have to be a dance. It could just be something as simple as, you know,
that's just the easiest way to associate
wash
music.
your clothes
with.
challenge. Like it could be some shit.
Yeah,
You
but
know
it's
what I'm
just
saying?
it's easier to associate music with just
I get
somebody
what you're
dancing
saying.
though. But I kind of feel like we was in the same bubble, like we're in like 2008, 2010-ish area where
Dance thing, the Crank That Soldier Boy.
not even that, but just what Nas just said, hip hop is trash, and niggas was like, yeah, you right, Nas.
You getting old, dog.
And then
you right,
I'm saying.
Yeah, you right, dog.
And then niggas went out of their way to find different ways to get content and music, and that was the beginning of calling them. That's how that's essentially how that shit started.
How old were you in 08 to be like, yeah, Nas, you right, dog. Rap
Nigga, back in the day when we used to be on the radio and they used to play the same 3 songs. That's essentially what the challenge is, right?
Yeah.
When you scroll through TikTok, you see the same challenge, the same thing when we was on, we listened to radio.
But think about,
and it was 3 different stations. They playing the same
The
songs.
TikTokers need content, so they have a vested interest in creating random challenges.
Oh yeah, I
and
agree.
the artists need views that
And that's what it
TikTokers
is.
has.
Yeah.
And I think
That's essentially what it is.
Really, to me, by the time you get back to TikTok, because think about the progression of like social media. If it starts at TikTok, it'll go to Twitter next, then it'll go to Instagram, then 2 months later, get to Facebook. By the time it's there, I'm back on TikTok with another, and that's really the Junebug challenge. He started off with that bitch. I got like he bucked at the thing. He started here. By the time it
Oh, that's the one. That's the one Davis and Conan was doing downstairs?
Yeah, the one
Yes.
he bucks at him.
Oh, sick.
That's that
And they
same-
do this bullshit in the middle of it?
No,
That's that Corvette.
That's the Corvette. Okay, I'm
But
talking
by
about
the
some
time
other
you
shit.
circle back around, like your social media cycle, you can come out with a whole different challenge. And it can be for the same song even.
Yeah.
I just have a theory on the music industry, and I just think my theory stands the test of time. And instead of TikTok, it's just like back in the day, it was just radio stations. In the same situation, artists need music to be played, so they just feed record radio stations. And now I'm in Atlanta, and there's 3 different hip hop stations, and the 3 hip hop stations at the exact same time are playing the exact same song.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, that when I was growing up, that's how that shit was.
What the fuck?
It was 3 different stations: V103, 95.5 The Beat, and 107.9. And there would be stretches where they were all playing Usher Year at the exact
That's
same
what
time.
everybody do. That's what they is doing in DC. We got 93.9 WKYS and 95.5 WPGC, which is now pop and shit now. But those were like our 2 hip hop stations. Same shit. You go back and forth, both stations playing the same exact shit.
Same
Same
It
time.
wasn't like that for us. That's crazy.
But and then the crazy part about it is, to me, that was the whole reason why I even got into underground rap and other, because it was just more avenues of just, I needed other shit to listen to.
Yeah, it did get annoying because when a song hit #1, they were like, "Yeah, we're playing this every hour." So.
Every hour, every fucking hour,
It
or
didn't
even
feel
on
like it though. It felt like they were playing it back to back to back to back.
literally, that's what it felt like. Or even on BET, like you would we just get done watching Rhapsody and they would play the same Little Wayne song and then go on 106.9, 106 and Park and play the same Little Wayne music video. It used to be the same shit.
What are the laws like here? Because in Canada, the radio stations actually had to play a certain amount of Canadian artists, which they got really lucky at the time because like Justin Bieber is blowing up, Drake is blowing up, so this is The Weeknd. So there's so many Canadian artists, they were fine. But there's a possibility that like if there's no big Canadian artists, they just had to start playing random underground people because there was a certain percentage they had to legally hit to be a radio station that operated in Canada.
I know there's a law like that, but in Atlanta, they just play Atlanta niggas. Just
I'm about to
they
say, I don't know
play
about
Atlanta
like laws as far as like where that artist is from, but it's definitely just everything out here is controlled by program directors, and the program directors I think are coming from another authority. So it's like, this is what you're going to play, this is what you have to play type shit.
So how do you feel about now? Like, I mean, I'm mainly on Spotify. I listen like Rap Caviar. Like that's huge. When artists get on Rap Caviar, they'll tweet about it because they want to be on Rap Caviar some more. So they want to kind of juice it up. But they have a lot of power. So if they just decide like, I don't want to play your music in this one of the biggest playlists on the whole platform, then that's a huge percentage of listens that you could have gotten.
Right.
And that's a lot of that's a lot of power now that those platforms have that radio used to entirely own.
Right.
How you feel about that?
I think it's dope. I definitely love like with Spotify and certain sites like this, you know, have really become even still though, it's still like that process, like you said, of having to get on and just how it's regulated and all that. But listen, all these different avenues they exist. You have radio, you have internet, you have all these different things. And just being an artist means that like you're trying to attack everything. You know what I mean? You're trying to touch all bases. Drake doesn't have that problem, but some artists do. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get heard on everything. So I mean, it's all just one big ass game. That's why you have these challenges. That's why you have these different things that you're attaching to the music. That's the reason why I started doing skits. Because you can't, it's not just the music. You have to attach something else to it. It's almost like the music is a bonus.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Because what if you can't even get the radio? Because I think all the challenges that we've talked about, them artists can't. Not can't. I
Do
don't
they,
wanna speak
out
that
of
way.
curiosity, sorry to cut you off, do they play that music? I don't listen to radio no more. Do they play the TikTok challenge music
That's
on
what I'm
radio?
saying.
Very
No.
rarely.
They don't do that shit?
They don't play Busted on the radio. They don't play that.
It was crazy is even on radio to this day, it's still like he says, it's like a program director, and it's almost like a fucking 15-song playlist that they have, and they just
it.
rerun that shit.
Now the song
every
is
time.
streaming and whatever clubs is open, I'm sure that they playing that record in the clubs
for
and
sure.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Even without that radio play, it's like you still have some life. You know what I mean?
Which I'll agree. That's probably the best part about it is that because back then, if you ain't on the radio,
If you-
you was basically fucked. But now you can still have a whole career, a very successful one, and never even touch radio. So I agree. Like that's probably the greatest part about the internet. I don't know how TikTok obviously wasn't the first platform to like really blow somebody up off that because it's been existing. It was existing before that because no.
And then the other thing too is we get royalties off that. We get royalties off if it's playing on. Yeah, we get well depending on what site it is. Like we get royalties from those songs being played
On TikTok.
It might be certain stuff with like I don't know about TikTok specifically, but like certain sites like
I know on YouTube. Yeah, I know y'all do.
Yeah,
Facebook
YouTube.
as well.
You got Facebook as well. Yeah, I think there's something behind that. Like they might look at how many people replayed this, retweeted this, twitched this, whatever, and there's something that comes behind that. But that's an actual like number that we can look at and kind of use to gauge like the popularity of this song.
Even a snippet of the song, it doesn't have to be the whole song.
Oh no, nah, it don't.
It
You can
depends on
pay.
the
You can
bot.
pay half a second of something. It's a play.
Oh, you mean for plays?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it
Yeah.
depends on the platform. I know YouTube, it used to be 15 seconds. I don't know how that's changed. But, you know what I'm saying? Every platform is different. But Netflix just changed how they count views.
Yeah, it used to be
because
way
Disney
higher.
Plus was cheating and reporting too many views. Disney Plus was reporting views. I forgot what the numbers were, but it was like 2 minutes in, that's a view. And Netflix was doing, if you didn't watch 75% of it, they didn't count it. So Disney Plus is reporting their growth, and Netflix is like, y'all lying right now. And people are believing it because no one's going to do the research. So they just changed it. So Facebook does the same thing. Facebook, you just scroll past some shit, they count that shit as a view. On YouTube, it's harder to get a view. On Facebook, you just get views accidentally. Same thing on TikTok. You don't even have to watch this shit. You just on your For You page, like most people, scrolling, and each one of these get a view right here. You know what I'm saying? Then the benefit of TikTok is like you actually get multiple views from people because the shit loops, especially if it's short. But you at least get one view from an uninterested person. That's not how it happens on YouTube. You have to click on the video to decide.
And then still watch it for like 30 seconds before they actually decide.
Right.
Yeah.
How far are we into it?
143.
All right, we can get to the real questions. All right, so higher self. What's the most amount of weed you smoked in a day?
13 J's.
Okay. How much is that? What's that weigh out to for people who don't know like what that may be?
If you got a gram of J, that's 13 grams.
Okay. Say less. You backwoods? Are you doing what? Wait, these are real questions. You do backwoods? Or you doing papers?
Papers.
Damn.
He answered them straightforward too. Just.
Yeah, why not? Shit, why not? Who the most underrated? Who's your favorite rapper? Actually, who's your favorite rapper all time?
Of all time, Jay-Z.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Trying to hang him up on the wall. You see that right there. Yeah, we're trying to. Who's the most underrated rapper?
Of all time?
Your
Who
don't get it. Just don't get enough respect and credit.
I think I would say Sean Price definitely was underrated.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace. Those who know, but yeah, Sean's a nasty motherfucker.
Okay.
And he was more underground, so that's all that was. But like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who the most overrated rapper?
Who's the most overrated rapper? Because I feel like if you at that point, I mean, there's some validation to it. Like, if enough people like you, you're doing something right. It's just my personal preference. You might not be all that, but that's just me.
Yeah, we just asking your personal preference. We just asking your personal preference.
I don't know. Who is somebody I'm just like, I don't really see it. I don't really get it. I don't know. I get everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, we'll see it out there. We'll see it out
It's kind of, it's not, it's just hard to say just how I look at it. Like, I can say underrated, like, oh no, this person definitely needs love. There's nobody I'm like, this person doesn't deserve this much love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just mean.
That's fair. That's fair. You know niggas, but you know there's a bunch of niggas on the internet who just spend all day saying shit like that. So I just want to know if you ever cross your mind.
That's why they them and I'm me.
Facts. When was the first verse you wrote where you were like, oh, I'm that nigga? Like, what?
I wrote this verse, I think I was like 14. I wrote this verse. Every line, every bar had rhymed. It was the first time I ever did it. I spit it for Dougie Fresh at a pep rally in DC.
Damn.
He whether he liked it for real or not, he was like, oh, that was tight. And so he took me into the room where he was standing at with a bunch of brothers from the nation. I didn't realize at the time that this is who I was around, but it was like just the whole nation was in there and shit. And he gave me a business card. He was like, you know what to do now. I was like, yes. I go outside. My sister's like, where was you? I was like, I just spit for Dougie. She was like, oh, for real? And I took the card to school the next day. I showed it to everybody and lost the motherfucking card.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
But
damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
You remember it though, word for word still?
Hell no.
What?
Mm-mm.
Damn, that's tough. I don't know if y'all call
that was a lot of alcohol ago and weed ago. I don't remember that.
I would have framed that fucking verse. If as soon as I figured out that,
I memorized it. I memorized it, but I wrote it down, but I memorized it. Yeah.
You were gonna spit for Dougie Fresh?
Nah.
You just memorized the verse.
Yeah. Nah. What happened was I had wrote it, and then I think like maybe a couple days after I wrote it, my sister was like, "We going to this pep rally at UDC. Dougie Fresh gonna be there. You wanna come?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he performed. And after he performed, like everybody just kind of left. He was walking through the hall, and I was like, I'm gonna catch up to him. So I busted through everybody. I was like, hey, yo, Doug. And he turned around, and I was like, my name such such. I'm 14. I want to rap something for you. And I just remember looking up to him and rapping, and it, to me, felt like he was like 9 feet tall.
Damn,
that's everybody's dream. Like even with basketball players, what if I just come up in the gym and LeBron is in here today, and I shoot a couple threes and he's like, all right, come play for the Cavs.
That'd be wild as shit.
What if he said?
Or what if a nigga gave you Maverick's number and said, you know what to do?
And
this nigga lost.
You know what to do. The next day, you like, oh.
Nigga lost a number.
We could really use your talent on the Cavs.
That'd be wild as shit. Why you don't think DMV gets more love than it should? Because the more and more I age, the more I realize more people from the DMV area than I actually realize.
Yeah, it's just not an entertainment area. It's a political area, and I mean this is something that I've learned just from. I used to do like consultations for people, so I would talk to people from all over the country, really all over the world, and a lot of them would say the same thing as like, I'm from an area, we have a lot of musical talent, but we don't have no avenues of getting out there. And it's like, well, you're not in the major music market. So that is why people move to Atlanta, New York, LA, you know, go to these places and try to get their shit out there. So if we create more entertainment resources and opportunities, then maybe that, you know, that area can be looked at like that. Because like you said, yes, we do have a lot of people, not just entertainment as far as like artists and people that's in front of the camera or in front of the microphone, but you got a lot of people behind that do production and all these different things and grew up in that area, come from that culture and all of that. But they had to leave because it's a political area. We don't have that same amount of resources.
Yeah, that's tough. Cause my girl's from there, and then the editor that they use for AMP, he's from there too as well. And a few other artists I've just like stumbled across, like just music wise, I fuck with it. I look it up. I'm like, oh, niggas is from Virginia, niggas from DC and shit like that. Like and it was like frequently, even niggas on Clubhouse. I'm just like people trying to promote themselves, and it's a bunch of people from the DMV area and shit like that. And it's just weird. Like I didn't really know it until like you start growing up a little bit more. You want to hear a little bit more people's background and shit like that. What's your biggest simp story?
My biggest simp story?
Yeah.
You mean like of me simping?
Yeah.
I don't simp.
Oh man,
We was almost there.
that's cap.
What you mean that's cap? I don't fucking simp.
Your whole life you never sinned not one time.
Well, in my whole life,
Yeah, that's weird. We talking about Well, you said it like women simp for you.
women simp for me. Yeah, they do sometimes.
Oh, okay.
They do.
Alright.
They most definitely do. I just have a different outlook and just the way that I handle women. I don't know. I think I don't know. I've had situations where a chick wasn't. I ain't like did no wild shit where I like spent all this like $1,000 or bought a bitch a fucking dog just try to get some pussy or some shit like that, or bought a bitch a car and no shit like that. I ain't even had no money for no shit like that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But you definitely
You've sent before though.
you simp before.
I've definitely had situations where I did more than I should have in hopes of trying to get some ass.
Let's hear one of those stories. That's it. Really, we just said to make sure niggas don't do it when they grow up. You try to stop niggas from simping with testimonials.
Let me see.
Testimonials.
Why not?
Yeah, because it's so long ago. That's like asking me like, what is something that you did in high school or middle school? Like, nigga, I don't fucking remember.
Okay. I think that's a big.
You want me to tell you? So I'll tell you some pimp stories.
Oh my god.
Okay. I feel like that's the opposite side of the spectrum. Let's try that.
Why would you want the simp side of the spectrum?
I
You
think that's the new pandemic. Niggas simping.
That's the new pandemic.
The more I
It's
hear
the oldest
niggas
pandemic in the world.
the more I hear niggas is spending random money on women, and they
That's
just
the
think
that's the
a
thing.
cool thing.
Let's see.
Because tricking is one thing, but simping is
What about
like
even time? It don't gotta be money.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the thing. It's like your time that you spending with a woman is like it's transactional, right? Because it's like you're exchanging your non-sexual time in exchange for some sexual time, and the older that I get, the more that I'm like, okay, because it's not just always about sex. Like you got to really know how to just enjoy your fucking time with being with a female. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not spending time with a woman necessarily like, yeah, I want to fuck this bitch, but before I even stick dick in this bitch, I do have to have some type of connection with her, like, because I'm careful about what I put my dick in. I'm not just gonna put my dick in a demon because she's bad as shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I've definitely done it, and it's not. This is real shit. This is real shit.
So what's a pimp story then? A pimp story then?
Let me tell y'all a good one.
Niggas grinning for that shit.
You remember the pimp stories.
I'm trying to think of a good one. I'm trying to think.
As a fact, hey kids, is one thing you learn out of this podcast: don't stick your dick in a demon, bro.
Don't stick your dick in a demon.
No matter how fat her ass is, no matter how much she suck you up, don't stick your dick in a demon, bro.
Well, I mean, if she's sucking you off, then you already stuck dick in her in the head, and that's the worst part. That's where the demon's brain lives. So shit.
I don't think I've ever thought about head that way before.
Yeah, she's sucking your soul out of you, bro. She's sucking those positive vibes out of you because she's a demon.
The worst kind. But that bitch be bad. The baddest bitches be the worst, the most evilest, toxicest bitches. I swear.
That's a fact, bro.
Omar, what you been through, man?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I remember trying to help somebody move for 2 days straight. Trying to chase.
Talking to the mic, man.
I remember trying to help somebody move for 2 days straight, telling me, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be help here. It's just me." I'm just trying to listen. We asking for the pimp stories.
I probably well I would say a simp story I would say is like probably like recording the bitch that I was trying to get some ass from, and I was like let her come to my studio and record it and shit, and I'm recording this bitch.
J.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, like some shit like that.
You say turn to Stevie J.
Yeah, real shit.
That's tough. But any pimp stories?
Pimp story.
You gotta be the best one.
I remember. Okay,
I can see you sifting through the catalog.
I'm sitting. I'm trying to think. It's like, do I want to share that story? I don't know if I want to share that story.
We cut things out if it's that
Saying
crazy.
it was last week. I mean, share that shit.
Nah, it wasn't nothing last week. I just all right. The shawty came through and she had the homegirl with her, and I motherfucking. That was a fun night. That was a real fun night because it wasn't supposed to go down like that, but it was just like the way that I was talking to these bitches. I was just like, yo, like sometimes it's just when they say it's confidence. Like I was talking to these bitches like I was already fucking both of them, and I ended up fucking both of them.
Threesomes. Now, were they into each other? Because I don't consider it a threesome if a nigga gotta fuck one and then take a break and then go fuck another one. I don't consider it a threesome.
Nah, they
That's just overtime.
They strip. So to me, it's like, bitch, y'all do this shit.
Yeah.
I just need to show you that, bitch, I know what the fuck time it is.
Oh, okay.
And once you lay that law down and let them know, like, yeah, them bitches, they with it. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yeah. It was a very interesting night.
Yeah. Now let's pivot to a whole other direction. What are the in a serious relationship? What are the 5 biggest things you look for in a woman?
I want honesty.
Yo, you gotta write this down.
Oh, I got you.
Honesty, okay.
You want honesty. You want I would say, communication, because bitch, I'm not a fucking mind reader.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Put that in bold, actually. Yeah.
Accountability, because bitches don't apologize for shit.
I swear to God.
This brother's preaching, huh?
Yeah, he ain't nothing but preaching. So far, that top 3 is nothing but preaching right there.
I want a woman that isn't I don't compete with bitches. Like, I don't argue with bitches. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Bitch, we working together. You a woman, I'm a man. Like, this is supposed to be we adding our values together to do some shit. This isn't, it's not a competition. Like, what the fuck? So I definitely don't want a woman, and I don't think women, but you do have women that think like that, but I just think that's more of a society thing, is that men and women kind of compete too much. But I'm definitely not I'm looking for a teammate, not a motherfucking opponent. So I want a bitch that understands that.
Okay.
This is the first time I ever heard it.
swear to God, I'm gonna use
but that makes sense though.
Yeah,
It makes
real
sense.
shit.
Forward, man.
Real shit.
Right
It's
now,
a great way to
cultural.
put it too. Because for that reason, some women can't wait. This top of the fifth for a second.
Yeah, bro, I swear to God. I just run across the most stubborn women, man. That just argue a point they won't even believe in just to be right. It's like, what are we doing right
Like,
now?
why? Why? What is the point? And a lot of it is female nature. So some of them, they just do it. They can't fucking help it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm just like, bitch, I don't fucking have time for this shit. Like, and I want a woman that understands, like fuck all these games, Slim. Like, when you got shit that you focused on in life and you focus on your purpose and you trying to get to these certain goals, you don't have time for these games. You don't have time for this bullshit. Like, I'll let a bitch know, like, bitch, I got other bitches that want to suck and fuck me and not gonna give me none of this bullshit that you giving me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like how a bitch got options, bitch, I got options too.
That's a fact.
I'm not some thirsty ass nigga to just geek the fuck you just cause, like, nah, bitch, I got other bitches. I will rather spend time with a 7 versus a 10 if that 7 is going to not have as many games as that 10.
That's a fact.
Because
And that's a
what's
fact.
more important than fucking the baddest bitch out of all bitches is my sanity, my time, and my health, my overall well-being.
Say that again. Cause them kids don't be knowing. They don't know. They don't know that.
So the whole premise to why that question is a recurring question is trying to figure out how far on a man's list you have to get to looks. Like more than likely, it's a bunch of other shit you get to before looks is even coming to the conversation.
Hell no, like looks ain't even the fuck. Like yeah, you want a bitch that look good, but like and then that's the other thing is like half these bitches they don't even like look good. Like okay, I prefer. Well, I'm not gonna say I prefer, but a bitch that wears makeup.
He's deep in his bag. Oh my! Keep going. A
bitch that wears makeup, that's cool. But bitch, I want to see what the fuck you look like without makeup. Like, don't just paint your fucking. I want to see a bitch's 5 o'clock shadow. Bitch, let me see what the fuck I'm gonna be waking up next to.
That's a fact, though. That is a fact.
The light skin mustache. You want to see it all.
I want to see all that shit, baby. I know you got it.
That's a fact. That's a
bitch,
fact.
be you.
But I be trying to tell them all the time, but you know they're young around here, so I'm trying to, it's all the looks and all that stuff. But I be trying to tell them you gonna get to a point where, bro, all that shit gonna look the same, bro. Especially when you get to a point where a 10 don't even look like a 10 anymore. She's just doing dumb shit all the time.
All right,
that's not even a 10 no more.
No, she's just a 10 in looks though. She's not a 10.
But the looks won't even matter anymore when she's doing dumb shit constantly.
But what is a 10? Okay, but I'm glad you said that, bro. I'm glad you said that because now we about to get into some shit. What is a 10 in entity?
A 10 in entity is like she might not be the baddest, but she's like mad supportive. She's not combative. She's definitely not no fucking opponent. You know what I'm saying? And like a person that's fun, like you can spend time with, but she doesn't drain you. She adds to you. Like those are all things that give you points.
Right. So I think all men like want the same shit in the woman. This is what me and my father be talking about. That's one of his biggest things. Is like if I'm around you and you getting on my nerves after a day, like you're not the one for me. And I'm like, well, you said it about all of them, so maybe that's just. But so that's so to kind of go back to that. So I don't even be wanting to fuck the baddest bitch. I want to fuck the bitch with the best pussy.
That's another thing. Yeah, we don't talk about that more.
So sometimes the bitch that got the best pussy ain't the baddest looking bitch. You know what I'm saying? The best sex come from the average joint of the, and I'm not saying this as a all the way rule across the thumb, but just like out of a group of bitches that I talk to, the jump that's going to give me the best experience in the bedroom might not be the best looking one. Another thing, I just lost my train of thought because it was another thing that I was saying to kind of piggyback off of what you just said as far as what you looking for. You said woman's good,
fun,
supportive, not combative,
teammate, not opponent.
Oh, right, which I said earlier. You asked a bitch what she bring to the table. I am the table. Because it's like, bitch, like, what do you bring to the table? I asked this bitch one time, this bitch fat as shit. Like, bitch, what do you bring to the table besides pussy and head? And this bitch struggled to tell. You know what she mustered up an answer to say? Oh, well, I know how to take care of it, man. I can cook, bitch. I know how to fucking cook. I don't need a
they
bitch.
Start naming things that like you could pay someone a couple $100s to accomplish.
Come on,
like cleaning.
bro. Come on,
like,
bro.
I guarantee you, my partner is not. I don't need a proficient cleaner. Like, cool, clean after yourself. We all clean after ourselves.
I'm an adult.
Even if I didn't, I could just pay someone to do it. That's what you do when you have money you want to delegate. So I actually don't need you for that. A couple $100s a month would solve that problem for me, not you. And the same thing goes with cooking. Like, it just takes some time to develop some dishes.
And so I think that a lot of women have this idea that because maybe the man that they typically go after is this quote unquote incomplete man. So they feel like where their value lies is in completing a man. Bitch, you will never hear me say I need a woman to complete. If you a grown ass man and you need a woman to complete you, call your mama. All right, like that's who the fuck you need. I could never like no, bro.
Both ways. Like even when I hear, I don't think you shouldn't even really be taking nobody serious if you feel like you need another individual to complete you as a person.
Yeah.
That's just wild.
That's just movies to teach people, bro.
Like that though. I'm about to say, yeah, people like that. They've either seen that from somewhere or their moms and their dads. To be quite honest,
but that's what he's saying again. Like what you bring to the table, and they mental. They like, if I complete you, then that's what I'm bringing to the table. And it's like, but you already expected me to bring all this other shit to the table. So why there's no completing on my end? So what the fuck?
or she'll say like, oh well, I'm this, that, and the third. I'm getting that bag. Okay, that's beautiful. I got my own money.
Yeah.
I don't care what you making.
Yeah.
If you happen to be making money or you happen, okay, cool, that's a bonus, but I'm not looking for that.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for a bitch that got to help provide any fucking thing. Like, that matters to me in terms of like, okay, if we gonna have children and procreate, I know that you're not just depending on me, like you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is a good thing, that is good quality, but that's not necessarily what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Very true. Which is very interesting because I think most men, like you just said, we just want to like be chilling and you add into shit, not being a burden or subtracting. And then we chilling. I actually want to be able to spend quality time with you without you having to like one up me every single time we have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not. We just here. I'm just chilling.
This list of 5 things turned into 15 real fast, did it?
Yeah, but it's just
I could write down
it's
that
a
last
fact.
one.
It's just a fact though, and I think most people in general don't really know what they want, let alone what they bring to the table when they're young. But I think there is a misconception on both ends of like women just think that it's just looks and fucking sex, and that's all they have to bring, or they think that that's what they bring in, and then men is just money and I'm just saying that's what I think. That's my theory is
that's society. That's what you see in these fucking movies, and that's everything that's being pushed out. And real quick, like it's just, the importance that is put on sex is fucking crazy, because it's like that shit is so like sex is put up here, but it's really like down here somewhere. Like that shit is not that fucking important. Like, yes, busting the nut feels good, but especially if you fuck a rack of bitches, you stop, man, all these little bitches is the same shit for that same funky ass little pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's amazing to me when you ask that question, what do you bring to the table? They start applying for like a housekeeper job. Like, I'm sitting on dead ass, like I can cook, I can clean,
I can breastfeed.
I can breastfeed. I can watch the kids. Okay, you're hired as the nanny. Like, come on now.
The craziest one is I can bear children. Is the craziest one.
I can bear children. Like, congratulations.
that's such a wild thing to feel like you provide to a relationship, as if like you could just do that all by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then when you're done bearing it, as if like the responsibility just stay upon you, as if like you're not asking for me then to also be there.
As if like that actually is a negative in a lot of instances too, because if I don't even want you for that, if you didn't have the ability to bear children, it would be in my benefit, because then you can't accidentally get pregnant or nothing like that. Because if I accidentally get someone pregnant, they win. I don't win shit. You know what I'm saying? I have too much money, and there's too much opportunity for her to finesse if that's what she wants to do. Yeah. So it's like she gets a lot of leverage in the situation. You see it happen to men all the time.
And I think that's another thing too, is that, you know, women to women, men to men, dear bitches, y'all go through a lot. We understand it. Us niggas go through a lot too. We go through shit women that never fucking understand. When it comes to a woman having our child, like, we're very vulnerable in a lot of situations. Cause you can just that easily be battling the fucking court system for the rest of your life, having to pay all this money. Like it's crazy, young. It's just what we be up against is so crazy. And yes, you got niggas out here that don't take care of their kids, and I don't respect a man that don't take care of his fucking kids. I'm absolutely not with that. But us niggas that like be trying and shit, like it's so easy, and then the system is already on their side. So, you know, you take all of that into account, and that's kind of what makes you maneuver the way that you maneuver. That's why you was like, your biggest simp story is like, well, even if I was in that mindset at one point, I'm so far removed from that mindset now, and I have to be, because of, you know, the position that I'm in life.
Fair. So again, what's the name of the album, man?
Higher Self.
Where can they find it?
Everywhere, man. All streaming music platforms, as well as my website, cranklucas.com.
Isn't that that's the best way to go, right? For you, right? Monetary, to go straight to your website?
Either way, you know, because people listen to music on iTunes. So if you on iTunes, just go search for Crank Lucas.
All right, say less. Any other closing remarks?
No, that'd be all, man.
brother Omar.
I just wanted to ask, what was your I made it moment? Like, not even,
I haven't. I haven't had that.
oh, you haven't?
No, I whenever I do something great, that's beautiful, but it's always what's next. You know what I mean? I ain't made it till I'm dead.
Is Wale the biggest artist you work with?
Well, I guess you could say Joyner, and then technically you could say Will Smith.
Oh yeah, Will Smith. No, I think it's Will Smith.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom.
I think it's
Willie,
Will.
yeah.
How that happen next before we wrap it up?
Joyner heard the beat and the skit, reached out to me. I sent it to him.
Oh, that's actually a question I want to ask you. How often does that happen where you do a skit of somebody else rapping?
Artists do it all the time, but Joyner was the first, like, I guess you could call him a major artist. He is a major artist, but the first artist of that caliber to actually like do that. I think a lot of time, and that was bold of him because I already rapped on it and I murdered the joint. So I think a lot of artists, once they hear you rap on some shit, it's like, oh, I can't, you know what I mean? So they might be intimidated or whatever the case may be. That is kind of me tooting my own horn, but shout outs to Joyner for doing that and for coming up with that dope concept to that. I had no idea what he was going to do with it, but it was a great surprise.
Have you wrote for like somebody on a low, like a major rap artist was like, yo, you killed that beat. You sound like me. So can you make me a song real quick?
You sound like me, so can you write for me? Nah, that hasn't happened yet, but it might do very soon. That's funny the way he said it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like if I'm an artist, I'm gonna do writer block, and I just hear a nigga just sound like me to a beat the hour rap. So like, nigga, I'm reaching out to that nigga to write for me right now.
well, you smart for that. I think some artists have a little bit more too much pride to do that because we're sensitive about our shit. You know what I'm saying?
There's plenty of artists who get lyrics written for their name like the crazy.
Yeah, I'm just talking about in the context that you like the way that you
okay.
broke
All
it
right,
down.
yeah,
Like that's funny as shit.
that
You sound like me, and I'm having trouble sounding like me. So can you write for me, please?
that would be wild.
That's how I'm hearing it in my head.
That'd be wild. But yo, man, shouts on my podcast. People out there rocking with us strong, man. Thank you for joining us, man. It was a great podcast.
Appreciate
great
you,
conversation, man. Make sure y'all follow him. Link will be in the description as always. Shouts on my podcast, people on all audio platforms, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you rate us a 5-star. Shouts to my people on YouTube as well. Hit the subscribe button, like, leave a comment. And once you get done with all that, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can join Noti Gang. And finally, no, okay.
I said gang.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And finally, word of mouth people, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, SoundClick, all that, man. Make sure y'all keep spreading the news and the word about the podcast, man. Keep growing strong. And we'll holler at y'all later, bro.
Fuck Audio Mac.
Why?
Damn.
Cunt.